away. Last week on the Extinction Curse, a scholar with mid-length brown hair, somewhat disheveled, who appears to be lashed to the crate in the corner.
Yeah.
Hey, we could leave her here. It's not like she's going anywhere. It's not like the heat is better literally anywhere else.
We should get her out of here.
But being tied up like that's no good.
You pull
Not
her
a
up
fan of this woman.
as she turns to you. You! Lizard man, whoever you are, throws her arms around you as well. Oh, plants a kiss right on your lizard mouth.
Ooh.
Just overwhelmed with
Clouds
her.
are literally.
And as she, this whatever minor award she can muster, kisses lizard man here, you feel your very soul being pulled up out of you. The claws behind you see lizard man kind of melt as demonic wings sprout forth behind this woman, a grin twisting across her mouth. She's gonna pull back for a brief moment and turn her eyes to Celwynne with a smile and raise a hand. Dominator, my puppet, help me. 22 is going to fail. You are dominated.
No!
This wolf savages her again, and you see her fall unconscious. He's gonna get you unconscious as well, as he slumps, dying in her embrace.
Ah! Sir, where are you, buddy?
As he does, I'm not used to anyone dead.
I'm listening.
Lay down your weapons.
I'll take a deep breath. I'll hold my arm out. Drop Clara. And the other arm. And drop Carl.
With that smile on her face, good.
May I sense him first before you do whatever you want to do with this?
And so, situation is truly grim here. And as Celwynne is led off into the unknown, and somewhere down below, Zerg is finally awakening. It's actually worse than it may even seem at first. Someone once said, it's always darkest before the dawn. If that's accurate, the sun better be fucking rising in about the next 2 minutes. Because it really cannot get much darker here. As Lizard Man, Aura, and Arabis lay dying, stable for now, but unconscious, your bodies all struggle to just continue to keep your blood flowing, your hearts beating, to keep you alive. The oppressive heat filling the tower is certainly no help. The furthest from it. And the three of you all left completely alone to the whims of nature and your own fortitude. are going to be sent back to dying 1 by this overwhelming heat. Now, all 3 of you are already wounded. And you will die at dying 3, which means that a critical failure now. This is the absolute precipice of life. Any of you could just be gone in one single instant before anyone could hope to come around to do anything to save you.
Sorry, guys.
Arvis, I need a death save.
Okay, question. If I roll bad, I'm screwed. But if I succeed, I go up or guaranteed stabilize?
So basically, you're all stable and wounded for the moment, but this temple is too hot to be livable. It's oppressive and deadly in itself. So this has sent you back to dying 1 because you're taking damage from the heat.
Yeah.
So you are at dying 1, which means at the moment it's a 50-50. It's a DC 10 plus your dying value, so 11 or up, and if you succeed, you'll be stable for now, but wounded 2, which means that you will die at dying 2 should you slip back down again. Now, you can spend all of your hero points to guarantee you stabilize here. It won't increase your wounded condition, but it only saves you for now. Of course, you can also use a hero point to reroll this, but hero points are actually a fortune effect. You can only use 1. You can't hero point to hero pointed roll. Technically, things like True Strike are also a fortune effect, but I'm putting hero points in kind of its own bucket. We'll make it the second edition house rule. That it's its own separate fortune effect. So you only get 1 reroll. And if you critically fail this, because you are already wounded, you die.
I'm gonna make the safe play here. I'm gonna lay up, and I am just gonna dump my last 3 hero points to you, sir.
Can you spend the hero points instead of dying if you were to critically?
But that's the risk he was just saying.
Well,
Yeah,
if you roll, you're rolling. You
Yeah.
can roll, or you can use all your hero points to stabilize.
All right.
Arbus isn't going to take that risk today.
Nope.
And perhaps an intervention of fate, everything she has left, just to hold on here. Lizard man, how about you?
I'm feeling pretty lucky. I'm going to roll with just a flat d20.
Just a flat d20, you need 11 plus.
13.
Easy clap.
13 will do it. Lizard man, long known as a fairly sturdy lad, and cold-blooded perhaps can handle this heat better than others. Now it's going to make you wounded too. You are going to survive for now, buying what time you can. Ara?
We're going to roll as well. Maybe. There we go. And I'm gonna hero point.
Yeah, 10 is just off.
Shy.
I'm gonna reroll that.
Oh.
Now, before you reroll it, with this failure, you go to dying 2. You don't die instantly from that. The DC is now 12, but if you fail that second roll, you die. If you reroll, and this reroll is a natural 1, you die right now.
We're gonna see what happens.
Uh-oh.
Alright.
I'm fucking scared.
Okay, that's it.
Wait for my boy.
Slightly daunted.
One fear.
Daunted.
With a 4, Ara, little leshy body, seems to be suffering the most here. And
Strange
you
happenings.
are going to slip to dying 2. Wounded, you die at dying 3. You can make the roll and hope for the 12 plus, or you can spend both of your last hero points to guarantee you at least survive for now and buy some amount of time.
We're going to dump the last couple hero points here.
Whew.
Ara the somewhat daunted.
Yep. Hard and moderately miffed.
And so, still lost. The 3 of you are clinging to life with basically nothing left but the whims of chance. If Zerg or Celwynne can make something happen. Now, speaking of Zerg, down below, Zerg is awakened from an impressively deep slumber, honestly. By some level of discomfort, I would say. It is hot. It is very hot. Now, it's only early spring here on the Starstone Isles. It's maybe 60, 70 degrees outside. It's cool, warming up. But as you awaken here on what you fell asleep on a cold stone floor, it's like laying on a hot summer sidewalk. It's almost actually burning. It's just so hot.
Fucking
Additionally-
Ara blowing goddamn fireballs all over the place. I wish he would stop.
Additionally, it is completely dark. You can't see anything. When you went to sleep, there was a campfire illuminating this secret chamber you're resting in, but that seems to have petered out. And without that, there's no light in here whatsoever. Do you have
Hello?
a torch?
Hello?
Your voice echoes through this room here, barren. And as you feel around, that moss you'd fallen asleep in appears to completely just disappeared entirely. It's just flat stone on the floor and the walls around you, and you can hear your voice echoing throughout this chamber, distorting and magnifying it, but there's no response at all.
Oh, I get it. This big joke on Zurich. Haha, we got to go to places and, turn the lights off. Everybody hide from Zurich. Very funny. Come on, we've got to go, everybody. Let's go. Hello?
Still nothing.
Alright, fuck you guys. I'm leaving. I do have a torch, but it's not lit currently. I had a torch with me when we passed out, at the very least.
Okay, so you have a torch. I'm pretty sure you got, when you made your character, just for simplicity's sake, the barbarian kit, which also has a flint and steel to
I imagine it would, yeah. I
strike
haven't
and
used
light
it,
that
but-
torch. They don't design these as big gotchas. So lighting up your torch to once again illuminate this chamber, you can see nothing left. Up a little north of you, where the campfire had been, is a pile of cinders and ash left behind, and you can see some footprints and marks, impressions where friends had moved around, but no one appeared to have left.
Oh, big funny joke. Okay, hide from Zerg. I like this game. Okay, I come find you. Let's go. And I'll go to where the spinning door was.
As you press once more, the stone slab sliding into place in the wall, revealing this intersection of hallways before you. You see no...
Remembering the cube, I just want to stick the torch through the door first.
That's wise. Holding this out, looking for any kind of a glimmer or glistening, I take it you're going to be seeking. as you explore here alone, looking both for your friends and for, well, you know there's a cube in here. So at last known, there was a cube.
Allegedly.
Your torch touches nothing. It allows you to step out into the hall here, into what seems to be a completely clean and clear area. You know that you traveled in here from the north when you first arrived. It was how you'd come around yesterday, but there's no real sign of where your friends have gone.
Can I see if there's any? Is there any anything strewn about the ground that my party may have left? Any clues for Zerg as to their whereabouts because they're playing tricks on me?
Go ahead and make me. Do you have survival? You can make a check regardless of whether or not you actually have any training in the skill.
I have a 1 in survival.
Well, roll me a survival check. Zerg's not great at tracking. Zerg's okay at tracking
19.
things. With a 19, looking down and kind of around here, you would see that this floor in this intersection is almost perfectly clean. There's no footprints, no signs of absolutely anything. It's perfectly clean where you're standing. It's perfectly clean ahead of you into this stairwell, and it's perfectly clean to your left down to the south. But to your right, there is a small smattering of what looks like old, tiny bits and fragments of dried moss and dust strewn throughout the hallway, looking like nobody's passed through there in some time.
Oh, I get it. It's very funny. Okay. Zerg's gonna walk forward into this alcove here.
So you come into a bit of a different chamber. This wraps around a set of stairs that are faced away from you. But as you come in, you can clearly see on the sides that it is an open staircase leading down. And the roof of this whole room is actually sloped up to accommodate the staircase ascending through the center of the chamber. And the little light you have with you does let you see that on both your left and right as you enter, there's 2 little alcoves on either side of this room as well, with stone plinths and carved booted feet. Looks like what was once a statue now snapped off at the ankles, the rest of it seeming to be entirely gone. The stairs are actually incredibly steep. There's no way you could just climb these traditionally. It's almost like climbing up a mountain. You'd need to climb it like a mountain face almost, as each one, giving only an inch or 2 of landing, travels up several feet.
Zerg is good climber, but little party members not so good climbers, so maybe they not go this way. This is tricky. Okay, I come back to your stairs. I do not like your stairs. Zerg is actually speaking. This is not just internal monologue.
Muttering to himself as he explores the darkness.
I do not like your stairs. I come back for you. And I'm just going to poke my head around back to the south.
Alrighty, and as you move down through this hallway, the floor impeccably
Torch still held out,
clean.
by the way, just as it...
Not ahead of you, so you're not looking to walk into a slime. You're aware that this cube exists. You come around a corner that leads back to, realistically, this fire probably would not be putting out any light anymore. Turns a right angle back around, generally towards the entrance of the area. But this splinters off one more time a little further to the south. And holding your torch out, you can see this southern hallway breaks, the floor dropping away actually entirely, where it looks like the floor here has functionally collapsed. This overlooks a chasm, and with your light cut by the edge of this cliff, you can't really see how deep it is. But interestingly enough, this smoothness, this perfect cleanliness on the floor here stops at a clearly demarcated, near perfect line about 5 feet back from this cliff's edge. Past that, there is caked what looks like guano feces, white, old, and dried from some kind of animal, layered up on the edge of the cliffside. You can actually see it's even about like a half a centimeter deep from just how much is piled there because the floor was cleaned exactly up to about 5 feet from the edge and then stopped at a sheer cut.
Where the hell did everybody go? Would you go down? Would you go up? Did you fall? Party is very clumsy. Definitely not as sure-footed as Zerg. This is a tricky one. You're all very clever. I know you can hear me. Very, very clever. Okay, all right. I go to the stairs. You want me to climb? I climb. You don't want me to fall down hole? I don't want to hurt myself for a little game. This is very silly. I hope you all know this. Full volume.
Your voice, again, echoing down through these square stone halls off into the distance, where you can almost hear it repeated back to you every second, just a little bit quieter as it bounces around. But still, no response.
Yeah, Zerg is going to put the torch in his mouth and just begin to climb.
Alrighty. Make me an athletics check, comrade.
This is all ridiculous. I cannot believe you're doing this.
So, as you try to grab here, there's like a nat 1 to me. The stairs are very, very steep, but the way they're designed almost makes it impossible to climb them traditionally. It's almost more an issue of balancing on the steps than it is actually climbing appropriately. And before we have another attempt here, formerly biggest phallus with $5, Zerg for the hope of the party, and talking to himself like a mad lad. Best of luck, giving you a 4th hero point to carry
Thank
this
you
weight.
kindly.
And Spamatron, $10, helping 1 for Arabis, 1 for Ara. Trying to ensure that you at
you very
least
much.
don't just die before Zerg can find you.
Thank you.
So give me
very
an
much.
acrobatics check, Zerg. It's more of a balancing act than a climbing one.
Very, very sure-footed.
Stymied for a moment by these stairs. Torch still in mouth, Zerg contemplates his options for a moment.
So they're
Meanwhile-
thin? Is that the problem?
Yeah,
Oh,
they're very thin. Meanwhile, Celwynne has been led up around back through the resting area through what seemed to be the encampment of these troggs, and to the large spiral staircase that you'd seen prior. Heading upward with this woman, Tylvi, shepherding you from behind, and the small demonic quasit kind of flapping around in front of you, constantly throwing glances back towards you, massive grin on its face. This
I'll
heat,
give it a massive grin back.
this heat is equally unpleasant for you, though fortunately significantly less lethal.
Hello. Well, my head is it always so hot in here? Is it you guys doing this?
The woman, Tylvi, shrugs a bit behind you as you climb. I couldn't tell you, honestly. This is certainly peculiar and uncommon. I've only been here maybe a week or so, but I imagine it has to do with Kanta's tampering with that artifact at the top. It's got all kinds of varied strange effects. Heat flashes, cold flashes, minor tremors. Had a bit of concern he'd bring the tower down on himself before we could find any use for this orb. Which is why we're bringing you, of course.
Why do you think I'd find some use for the orb?
Well, Celwynne, do you know why I chose you out of all your friends there?
Because I was the last one standing.
By my own design. I brought you to fight alongside me, and you did quite well, I'll admit. No, Celwynne. 2 things, really. First of all, and this one is surface level at best, your heritage. You're a gnome. You're one of the first world peoples. Now, the closest thing to a fae that mortals really accept into their societies, no?
I'll do a little bit of my heritage magic, just prestidigitation. Yeah, I suppose it's giving me a little.
With a brief cast. And exactly. This is exactly as I had expected. To my understanding, all of your peoples have some latent connection to that energy, that magic that flows just beneath the surface of this very plane. The first world is a thought, one that I've long studied, one that seems to be, well, if not entirely reliable, certainly useful. And it may be this particular touch of yours, perhaps this gnomish fae magic. It might be what we're looking for after all.
I just gotta understand you here, because correct me if I'm wrong, you don't really give a shit what the troggs are doing. Maybe I'm misreading you entirely, but you seem like the type of person who just does shit because you find it funny or fun.
And your insight, the second. I looked across you and your friends there, sizing you up how you approached my trap, admittedly. You had caution. So did you some of your friends, so did that lizard of yours, but that seemed to be grounded in just instinct, animalistic tendencies. Yours, I could see the gears turning, Selwynne. I could see the process in your mind. I could see every possibility playing out, weighing your odds. I must say, if I've sized you up correctly, I feel your talents are wholly wasted on, what are you, circus performers?
Circus performance, yeah. Well, maybe. It's fun. It's interesting. You should go sometime, and I'll pull out a pamphlet and hand it to her.
And she'll reach up and take the pamphlet from your hand as you're still walking up the
Assuming
stairs.
as I survive.
And just kind of
There'll be a
look
lot
it over.
of performance if we're dead.
Well, I assume the circus is more than simply the four of you.
Well,
Still?
no, but we're the star acts.
And she just kind of carefully folds it up and slides it into her dress. Well, Celwynne, you're not wrong. I've kind of flitted about this region here, with some investigation into this tower and its power, leading me around the area. I at first hoped to gain some sort of understanding of what this orb does, what it's capable of, how it could be harnessed, perhaps, by the nearby druids. And though, of course, they were almost woefully easy to corrupt, barely any fun in it, as humans usually are, they didn't seem to know much more than I did. The only one who may have was a stubborn fool of a leader who seemed to be nearly the only one resistant to my charms and magic. But these troggs, I came to investigate the tower myself, and pulled them under my sway. They haven't fared much better. Though admittedly I haven't had much of a direct hand in them, as, well, they don't seem to be particularly useful, really.
Right, they're
Brutish
troggs, they're
sorts.
idiots.
Well, that much is apparent. As I assume that you and, a total of 4 of you have just slaughtered your way up this tower.
Well, we did have indirect help, and this might be just me speculating. The succubites, in my understanding, are beings of lust, yes?
Prime
And-
evils, as your scholars, yes.
Either way, on the way up, we were assailed by a couple of these Solgaths. Is that the real term for them? I think it is. Anyway, some of them were busy fucking, to be frank, and weren't joined in the fight until, well, we killed the rest.
Well, I'm
I
afraid
feel
if you're
it-
looking for a cause, you found it. My
So
influence,
indirectly-
my very presence does seem to have that effect. And as brutish and imbecilic as these creatures may be, they've still simple mortal brains, even simpler than your friends, really. It's an interesting thought, Celwynne. Tell me, what is the difference between the lizard you travel with and the dozen you slay on the way up to me?
Well, there is obviously the appearance. One of them can speak. One of them
They
doesn't
can
try
all
to kill me
speak.
inside. Well, barely.
They're
Allegedly.
civilized, they've science.
Undercommon's
culture,
barely a
math.
language.
It may be a bit simplistic, but the Zolgats do have their entire society underground. Their own creations, their own inventions, discovery, art even.
Yes. Okay, fair enough. I'll concede the point. But Lizard doesn't try to stab me on sight. There's a pretty big difference there.
Instinct, then. Intuition. But even still, I don't think that's the whole of it, really. Because what I saw in the dull eyes of your lizard friend there didn't seem to be much different than what I see in the dead eyes of these Zolgats. Just base animal. But there is a difference. And that is that beyond that instinct, if given time, there's the capability for higher thought. There is the capability to approach things differently. There is, you could say, a separate level of evolution. No? You can almost see the direct ascendancy from these Zolgats to your companion. His
Right, the
kind.
lizard folk.
I forget their proper name, but
Suppose- I believe it's just lizard folk. I don't think there might be a fancy name for it, but none that's been divulged to me.
well, Celwynne, what I seek from these towers is something very similar. Now, your friends down below, I truly mean them no real harm. They just seem to, well, be an interference, a distraction, perhaps. And I assume that you came in such force as a means to end myself and the troggs and whatever it is we're doing here. But I seek something very similar. I always forget, it's a silly word. It's so simple that you call us
Demons?
demons. Demons, is it? Demons, then. Denizens of the abyss, this evil shadow looming beneath the world. Our existence, our livelihood, our very development, it's much more intricate, more in-depth, perhaps, than a standard traditional lifespan. The difference between these Zolgats, and even Sku'ul up top and your lizard ally down below, is the difference between myself and my potential. A whole step of evolution, Celwynne. I mean, your friends and really any of this area or even this plane, no real harm, truth be told. But in my studies, I have sought a catalyst. Something that can accelerate this process, perhaps.
That is what a catalyst is.
This Aeon Orb, and perhaps your magic, may be exactly what we're looking for.
Well, I would need
Now-
some time to study it. Oh,
Hurry on. We need to get to the top.
That
See what
gives me an
assistance
idea.
you can aid Kanta in his calculations.
I heard of this. It's a very obscure story of a extremely obscure bard who did something like this. I'll try to play the deception to the best of my role.
And as you continue up this, what seems to be at least 8 flights worth of stairs that you're just climbing with no real end in sight.
I'm like, hold up my hand. Wait a second. I know succubi, you can change your own forms into other beings. Obviously, you did it earlier. Can you help with my disguise? Because I only have these circus clothes on, and I don't think I'll make a very convincing mathematician. This is what I was going for, or am going to
Just
do.
raises an eyebrow and kind of looks up and down. My dear Selwyn, I don't think you need to attempt to make any kind of impression among the Zolgats with your looks. Your mind will do just fine.
I'll shrug. All right, fine, if you think so.
So down below, back as Zerg struggles to conquer the staircase here and make his way upwards to the second floor of the tower. As you struggle and wrestle for handholds or trying to keep balance, trying to get yourself steady and make your way up this, go ahead and give me another acrobatics or athletics. And you had a thought, I think, before I was pulling us away.
Well, that's an acrobat. I can't see anything, by the way.
I know. Not yet.
Okay,
At the bottom of the stairs.
cool. Still adamant that this is some very elaborate prank. It's very funny. Not very much the time for this. I think big things at hand. You cannot be messing around in these kind of places. These cubes, big, scary. What you doing? You're not listening. Nobody listened to Zurich. Okay, fair enough. All right, all good. That's fine. I understand. Torch in mouth, yet again, and just by pure strength and speed alone, wants to attempt. I want to attempt to just
do
get
it
some
faster.
sort of
It'll work better.
and just sort of launch from any kind of grip I can get.
All right, you got a little room
up.
there to make get a bit of a running start. And while we discussed the succubus there, it was a veritable deluge of assistance from Chad, who does not want to see our adventure end right here quite yet. Saiyan Fox 10 throwing in a hero point for Celwynne, dealing with heat like I've been dealing with for the past hour. Also, this may be the last chance too. But you get the 2, I believe.
Yes, it might put me up free.
I have you at 1
not
right now.
certain. Fair enough. There, I think yours is right. I've kind of stopped keeping tally.
And then, also formerly Biggest Phallus, and now, time for evil. Squid, you know what this is for. I have a villain point again.
He doesn't need it.
I thought it was for me.
Oh, fantastic.
I thought my whole descent into evil should
I
be
have
met with.
one. And then Loopy Caster. I lust only for death and destruction. More skulls for the Skull's throne. Villain point. The GM of Doom.
You
So I have
guys.
2.
Y'all are motherfuckers.
The
More
good
than
news
half
is,
the party is unconscious, and you're giving him points.
as much of the party wants to see, or the chat wants to see you guys succeed, similarly, may want to see how this ends. All right,
No,
Zerg.
no, how does end? Just see it end. I can't.
Just see it end entirely. Zerg, if you want to get some space here, take a running start at these stairs and just try to launch yourself up. I'll let you athletics that one. To just fling yourself up.
22.
Much better. And with a 22, almost like an actual baboon. 2 hands, 2 feet. 2 hands, 2 feet. Flinging yourself up this almost 60-degree, possibly even steeper than that, massively steep staircase. You launch yourself all the way up, hand over fist, until you reach the top. Ascending to the 2nd level.
This is a lot of effort for a prank, everybody.
Seems to be even higher above the ground level than your initial entrance was. You probably went up about 60 feet of stairs to get here.
Sorry. Let me correct myself then. This is a lot of effort for a break.
Now, as you reach the top, part of what made the stairs so difficult is, in addition to how thin they are, they're also very, very smooth. And even their corners, over time, have sort of been worn down. So it's almost more like Steve Moguls than proper stairs. And that continues up at the top here. As you look down and see this, the floor is still perfectly, impeccably clean in both directions. This heat still just wearing on you. It's probably about 110 degrees in here. I don't know what that is in Australian, but it's really damn hot.
That's like 40 degrees Celsius.
Probably.
fucking
That
hot.
sounds about right.
I don't like this. What if I run into trouble? Who will save you all if you're hiding? Okay. I'll go south and have a little peek around the corner.
As you move down to the south, looking around this corner, you see that the chamber finally opens up into something very large that goes off further than you can see, further than your torchlight illuminates, ahead of you and off to your left. And just near the edge of your torchlight, away to the left side here, to the further south, it seems like once again more of the floor has collapsed away into rubble. The floor just ending in a cragged, rough break, and darkness beyond. The southern side of the tower seems to have suffered some decent amount of damage, to have collapsed the floor here and down below. But Notably, there were no gaps in the ceiling from the lower level, and you have gone up like 60 goddamn feet.
Very confusion. Very confusion. I guess I'll wander further into this room, sort of peering over into the chasm.
Looking over towards it as you come further into the center, you can see that the southern wall is nearly 40 feet away from you, and that wall does continue down into a pit. And for about 15 feet back from the ledge, torch held up high, you can see this drop-off appears to be down about 15 feet to just damaged stone and rubble below. Below the level of the floor, the back wall also looks like it's just shattered fallen stone. It wasn't carved to accommodate this hole.
And everything is still clean? No signs of...
Down here, there seems to be a bit less of that, actually. The perfectly clean floor continues around the corner and against the northern wall of this chamber, up into the far corner here where it looks like it actually just stops. Everything south of that, where you're standing and beyond, and also in a further hallway that seems to lead further more to the west, there is a thin layer of dust and dirt. Doesn't look like the accumulation for a very long amount of time, maybe just a few days. But you don't see any footprints in it.
This is getting less funny, everybody. Less funny by every minute. I get angry with all of you. You don't want to see me getting angry. Not good.
Continuing down...
Moving into the hallway.
Yeah, continuing down the hallway here. Your light illuminates another break with a curtain hanging, much like what you had found down below in the chamber with the strange chicken dinosaurs. However, this curtain is red velvet and very rich, extravagantly made and quite thick and heavy, and is hanging from an actual proper rod rather than just a rope drawn between two ends on stakes nailed into either wall. This is much richer, and it bears in silver filigree the same symbol that you would see on all the shields of the druids back at the Hermitage. Additionally, further down the hall, you can see once again silhouetted 3 standing stacks of stones about 4.5 feet high, with enough of a gap between them to squeeze through, just like what you'd seen down below in several places. And behind that, you can hear the crackling of a fireplace and see a much brighter light.
Zerg wants to just sort of peek the curtain. Just enough to see if he can see anything inside.
Alrighty. And as you do, as you peek your head in here, just go a little bit further now. As you peek your head in here, coming through the curtain, you can clearly see what appears to be Lizard Man and Arabis's dead bodies on this other side of the room. Lizard Man looks like the very color has been drained from his scales. He's almost pale, and Arabis looks like she's been ripped to shreds by some kind of animal with fang and claw.
Zerg's gonna fling the curtain wide open at this point. Raise the torch up. Found you! I knew I would find you. This is very funny joke. You have been looking all over the place. I think, they're making fun of Zerg. They play tricks on me. You're watching me, and now you have a sleep. Wake up! Oh.
As you yell at them, you hear a growl come from deeper within, as limping and injured, a massive blood-red wolf just clearly taken some blows, one of its shoulders a bit singed from fire, limps around the corner, snarling towards you.
I get it. He's, very funny. Good doggy. I'm
The
just
wolf.
going to slowly walk up to my friends and wake them up. And I'll take a step forward.
And as you take a step
Tentatively.
forward, with a deep snarl, the wolf, too, throws itself at you.
Oh boy.
Now, finally, after what seems like it may legitimately just be an infinite climb upwards, Celwynne, you must have gone up 12 to 15 stories worth of staircases at this point. It doesn't seem like reasonable or in any way possible that surely the tower was not this tall from the outside. You see the light of day, as admittedly it's still relatively early in the morning,
Uh-oh.
beaming down from above. And Celwynne,
I'm excited for my prospects.
you emerge onto the rooftop, the summit of the whole of the Erran Tower. And as you do, Tylvi and the Quasit just kind of flapping around atop the staircase, cackling now, as he gets to see what kind of exciting things are going to take place now that you guys have finally arrived. Tylvi steps past you, towards a couple of troggs. There's 3 of them up here. One, a little south of the stairwell that comes up just in the center. I know nobody but Celwynne can say anything right now, I'm sorry. I suppose what I could do, actually, is
And I'll have that big fucking bird.
I could do this, and I could give you one of these. And you guys can all go look at that, I suppose. At least just on a totally black screen. The one on the south end appears to be just kind of looking lazily off the summit here, over the trees, as this tower is just leagues beyond the height of any of the forest trees. This has to be at least 200 feet above ground level here. The other 2 are gathered around what looks like some charcoal sketches on the ground not far from the top of the staircase. And one of them looks much more extravagantly equipped than his companions. What certainly must be Sku'ul Kanta. This trogg has a massive warhammer, little more than a boulder the size of your torso, lashed to what has to be at least half of a tree. And he is also wearing some roughly made but forged steel scale mail. And he's kneeling on the ground with a charcoal stick, scribbling additions to whatever he's doing on the floor here, as he sees you and Tylvi arrive. As you come up, the trogg with him steps back and grabs his club and calls out another comment. Hey! Hey! Pay attention! Down to the south. The other one just kind of turns around, turns back, and literally does a double take at this gnome jester here, and pulls out his club as well. Past both of them, there is a massive dinosaur, looking almost like a reptilian pelican, perched on one of the outer points of this rooftop. The landing at the top of the tower shaped almost like an 8-pointed star. And while the whole rest of the tower is made of mudstone, this flooring here is a full sheet of slightly yellowed marble. And perched on the points of one of these stars, this creature stands, its beak larger than your entire body, with a bright green, almost a frill, almost a fleshy, not quite a horn, not quite a feather, sticking out from the back of its head, and flaps its wings out. One wing goes wide. This thing easily must have a 20-foot wingspan, but the other kind of raises at an awkward angle, like you can't pick it up all the way, like it's injured or damaged somehow.
Bird.
The leader of the troggs drops his little charcoal stick and stands up and waves a hand to his 2 grunts. You wait. If Tylvi brings friend, it is friend, idiots. And Tylvi with a big grin, puts her hands together in front of her. Oh, of course, my love. I've brought you a new assistant. This is Celwynne. She is a gnome from a nearby circus, and she has much experience with these kind of machinations you're trying to do here. High-flying acts, angles, trigonometry, rigging, all the sorts of things that you're having difficulty putting together, dear. Plus, she has magic and may be of aid to us. And, Kanta, almost just angered by this, kneels down and pounds his fist into the stone. Oh, I have magic! What can she do I cannot? Well, she can probably cast it on things that are further than arm's reach. Think for a moment, love. Is that not your problem? The orb is too far away. Right. Well, tiny man thing.
Woman thing, but go on.
Points at the crap he's drawing on the ground. Look at this. Tell me what we're doing wrong.
I'll look it over. What's he drawing?
It appears to be calculations by someone who maybe has a middle school understanding of trigonometry and like mathematics in general. He has a general concept of what he wants to do, which is to find a way to build some kind of a bridge that will allow him to get out to this orb. And from up here, it's clearly evident, about 3 feet across, a almost faintly glowing white spherical beacon, just lazily drifting by, about 30 feet out from this summit of the tower, level with where you're standing. I can't make these numbers work. We make bridge from point to point. But when we try to extend bridge, and he points, he steps a little close to the edge and points down. Horgosh fell and died.
Well, that is very unfortunate for Horgosh. Maybe he shouldn't have fallen.
Well, that is why I had him go first.
Very smart, very forward-thinking, literally. So, to my understanding,
kind of looming over you, looking down at this, so you can see a problem. Yeah, Celwynne, my dear.
Oh, absolutely. I can see many problems. Obviously, not with the great calculations you've done. They're very staggeringly precise, almost. Just not in the entirely right frame of mind. It's just these things. You know how this is first world magic. Obviously, these towers were built by Erran himself. I assume you know, since you wish to, damage it, destroy it, level it to the ground.
This whole conversation's all in undercommon because it seems to be the only language that Kanto understands, unless you're like trying to say something he can't understand.
No, I'm
just kind of
undercommon.
looking at you. Looks down at his drawings. We are the first world.
Right, of course. But what are you trying to do with this? I wasn't briefed entirely. Do you wish to obtain the orb? Do you wish to destroy the orb? Do you wish to damage the orb? There's a lot of different scenarios.
Gavazeb has blessed me to crush this orb in his name.
Right, destroy them. Right, we're on the same page, because I don't want to make calculations that are meant to grab the orb and obtain unimaginable power. If you just want to blow up the orb, right? Those are separate calculations entirely.
The Zolgath that you're just kind of standing next to here is looking down at you like he doesn't understand a goddamn word you're saying. And Kanta is not looking a whole lot different. I want a bridge so that I can walk to it and hit it with my hammer until it is defeated.
Exactly. Destruction, breakage, annihilation, victory over those so-called gods of this world. Obviously, not your god, who will triumph.
The
And, I've
glutton
been
in the
sent-
dark will consume all unworthy.
Yes.
And Tylvi literally, like,
I'll
puts her hand over her eyes, like, face bombs her. Perhaps, dear Sku'ul, I can catch our new ally here up on the specifics of things, and you can finish this that you're working on, and then we can come and assist how she will. And Kanta looks down. Yes.
I see you have an
Finished.
advanced understanding of Pythagoras' theorem here. It is excellent work, and I think you're just moments away from cracking it. And I'll turn to what's her name?
Tylvi.
Tylvi, sorry, and say, let's say in
Cheers.
like common. He has no fucking idea.
And a grin on her face, looking up towards Kanta, and she nods briefly, looks back to you in common. He does not. Come, Celwynne. And she, with a heavy sigh, leads you around to the other side of this big landing,
Oh,
off to the eastern side of
flew
the
off.
frontier.
So what are you hoping to get with these guys? Because I don't
Well,
know.
truth
what...
be told, like
you're
I
fucked.
said, they were simply here when I arrived already.
Right. And what's your objective with the orb, if you don't mind me asking? Because obviously you have a, well, less idiotic perspective, I would hope.
Well, when I had some belief that this divine power Sku'ul possesses had any chance of succeeding, and truth be told, he does have some impressive magic. Perhaps destruction of the thing would release its power, and that would be something I could capitalize on, but he's shown no aptitude for the task he's been given.
It is also a
too.
fairly big risk to run, right? Just destroying it. You have one moment and one chance to even capitalize, and if you fail, it's gone forever.
Exactly. There's no guarantees. Of course, with the kind of things we're working with here, there hardly going to be any guarantees at all, really.
Right.
I'm not entirely even sure what this artifact is capable of, but the source of its power is certainly divine in origin, and magnificently powerful.
It is oddly fitting that a construct of Abberton would attract a succubus.
So, Celwynne, you can see as plain as I can that Kanta's plans to build a bridge out to this rock are idiotic and doomed to fail. So, hopefully, we can find a better way.
I'm listening.
Now, your friends downstairs left my wolf back to guard them, and they, well, if they're strong, they're well enough off. But their time does seem like it's quite limited. I imagine you're eager to get back downstairs and, well, see they don't meet their end here. So perhaps we could help each other.
Right.
You help me with, well, whatever it is we're going to end up doing, unlocking the secrets of this artifact. I leave you to your business and provide you with a few potions as a show of good faith to ensure that your allies are in pristine condition. You turn back wherever you came from, having successfully run off. I assume it's the troggs that you're after.
Right.
Now,
How do you know I won't just run away?
Celwynne, for all your wisdom, you underestimate me. That or you know very little of... Oh, what was that word again? A succubus? You called me?
Succubus, demons, yes.
Truth be told, precious little. No, Celwynne, I have an idea. A great idea, actually.
Uh-oh.
However strong your magics may be, your sword arm, you may need little assistance in unlocking these powers. See, the other thing about demons, as you call us, is that our power, our progress, our evolution here is not restricted to just ourselves. The Abyss has always had a strange connection with the material plane, almost similar to what the First World has. but more detached. One that has to be initiated, maintained, perhaps. And
A
Celwynne?
pact of some kind.
I have friends who would call it as such, yes. Now, at the moment, I've lent my power to that idiot over there with the giant stick, but he's made no progress with it. And
Yeah, well, and hold on, pause, because I do recall a few scraps. Doesn't that link you telepathically? How can you stand that? Does it go
Well,
both ways? Can he like talk to you directly? Like, is it a
after
one?
centuries of plying my craft, I've gotten quite good at blocking out the voices. Believe it
Oh,
or
God.
not, he's far from the worst I've worked with.
Oh no.
But certainly, Celwynne, if you will accept this power to help me and to help you and to help your dying friends back downstairs, you would be much more pleasant company, I'm sure. Now, and she turns to you and raises a hand and looks down at it, and you can see in her demonic form here, wings kind of folded behind her back, a clear, visible, bright red of her irises. Her eyes physically light up, a red glow, as the iris and the pupil disappear entirely to just replace it all with a flat plane of blood red. And her hand emanating a similar energy, however faintly. She looks at her hand for a moment before lowering it down to you. If I've got you pegged and a few centuries behind me, I figure I'm quite good at that by now. You can see the value for yourself and your friends in my offer.
I don't know.
She extends a hand. Down
Hesitate.
one level from where we are. Zerg
Oh boy.
has a different and much simpler, at least, problem to deal with. Clearly injured, but a fairly massive wolf throwing himself at you. I'm gonna need you to roll me some initiative, sir.
God damn. 11?
Excellent.
You have 4 hero points. You may want to consider a reroll.
4 hero points and a session reroll.
And your session reroll still on top of that.
Oh, yeah, all right, yeah. Session reroll then. Why not? 22.
Much
Much better.
better. Much better. Alrighty. You go find this lad's step block, as it is fairly far away. Okay. As the wolf strikes forward. I think a 19, actually. So Zerg, as this wolf lashes out, you will be the first to act.
So it's lunging at me, yeah?
It is attacking.
So let's go. In the same action, if I can, I just want to drop the torch just so it falls straight to the ground.
Yeah, that's not even an action. You can just,
Yeah,
just let it go.
drop that shit and uppercut this wolf in the jaw.
So you're gonna drop the torch, step forward to him, which is gonna be an action, and swing hands.
Like that. With a 29.
Good start.
That was a great start. 29 is actually gonna critically succeed. It's just a wolf. It doesn't have any armor or anything.
Excellent. Not so good on the damage, but is that double because it's a critical?
It is doubled because it is a critical success.
Okay. So, stepping in the room and seeing this thing lunging at me, Zerg's gonna just drop the torch, step forward, uppercut to the jaw. Do I still have an action?
Still have one action left. And as you come forward, you can see an elaborately well-appointed room. A writing desk to your left with some well-kept books, materials, and writing supplies, as well as a strange demonic mask laying on one corner. And to your right, a silken bed strewn with rich bed sheets and plush, soft pillows sprayed with the blood of Erebus. And as you come around the corner, you can see also Ara, who appears to be dead at the foot of the bed.
Oh boy.
You got one action left.
Gotta follow through from that uppercut with an elbow down to the top of the head.
All right.
With a -4?
The -4.
Has a 24. 23.
23 is gonna hit. You got the hot dice in here.
7 bludgeoning as the elbow comes down to crack the skull.
Oh, with a great opener here, a solid critical hit into this elbow strike. This wolf is staggered back a bit. Again, it's clearly fairly well injured already. But as it recoils from this, without a yelp, shouldering the blows almost with a strange intelligence, it surges back up, jaws wide, biting out towards your arm as you strike down at it. And it is going to bite towards you for a 23.
Yeah, that hits.
And as he hits you, his jaws closing firmly around your arm. You're going to take 7 damage.
And I'm gonna rage immediately. With my wounded rage. As I scream out in pain, the teeth coming in. You hit my friends! Ah!
Bursting
7
into
damage.
egg form. How much temporary health do you get from raging?
I get, don't know.
7.
I can't remember.
7, so that's going to do no damage to you. It's your sheer rage is going to blunt that entirely. But the wolf still got a good grip of you. And holding onto your arm with pretty impressive force, he's going to yank you down to the ground and knock you prone. Now, this wolf is a towering beast of a creature, rippling with muscle, at least a good foot at the shoulder higher than a standard wolf. And as you've now been thrown down on the ground before it, it is going to bite down again, trying to take advantage of your new position. Now, prone still does make you flat-footed, I believe.
Yeah.
He's going to bite down towards you with 27 on a
Yeah, that'll do it.
natural 20. Living
Yeah,
up to exactly what we did last week. This wolf is a freaking crit machine. Every time he pulls somebody down, he then immediately crits them. He's 3 for 3 on that. And he's going to do 14 damage as he rips into you. Not 14 doubled, the 14 is the critical damage. Zerg.
While prone, so I'm guessing, yeah, all right. So I'm laying prone, and this thing has come down over the top of me.
Exactly.
So,
It's basically get you pinned down to the ground, but you can take an action still to get away from it and get up, because it's not... Well, it's focusing on ripping into you with its jaws more than holding you down.
Can I flip the script and roll on top of it?
You can attempt to bring him down as well, absolutely, with an athletics check. If you're trying to do it from the ground, I realize the thing we're missing does take a -2. That's a natural 1, so penalties is largely relevant at that point.
Okay, well, how about instead I hero point that and just try and bring it down?
All right.
Excellent.
Not much better.
With a 15, -2 because you're prone. It's going to be a 13. This wolf is incredibly strong, and from the ground it seems almost impossible for you to get the proper leverage to take it down.
That was 1. I'll get up and
As you
punch in the face again.
As you stand, again with some kind of feral instinct, it takes advantage of your momentary lack of ability to keep up your guard, striking at you as you try to right yourself. It's an attack of opportunity. It is going to bite for a 16.
No dice. I step back as it misses and lunge to punch it in the head with a 28.
I mean, -4 because it's your second attack, but a 24 is still raging
First
monkey
attack,
strike.
I didn't attack before. I just moved it.
Trying to bring him down has the attack trait. Anything you do basically that's trying to like trip or grapple or do anything to them still has the attack trait.
24.
But a 24 is still absolutely enough to punch him.
With a 6 to the face. Oh wait, with rage as well.
Ooh, what is rage?
8 to the face. Gives me 2 additional damage.
The face. Does it change your? I believe it changes your die entirely. I think it's a totally
It
different
does.
roll.
You have a separate one called Monkey Fist.
Oh, do I?
The monkey fist damage.
Oh,
yeah,
I'm gonna roll that.
Because it's a D10
Okay.
instead of a D4.
Oh. Okay,
How often Zerg rages?
Yeah, right.
All
yeah,
it
it
took
is
was
different.
killing all of his friends.
Shall I'll roll that.
Yeah, just
one.
go ahead and hit the raging monkey strike.
There you go.
11 damage is gonna knock this wolf pretty solidly off balance, bringing it down. It falters for a moment, stumbling back away from you. Not quite out of the fight yet. And backed into a corner, lashing out in a fight or flight rage. The snarl, it lashes forward for a 21.
If it's even. I've got 21 AC. That hits, right? Just
Even is hit.
motherfucker.
So he's gonna bite you again. This time dealing 6 damage with almost a ripping strike. Before he throws you with a flick of his head back down to the floor and actually hops away to recover a bit of distance. All right, Zerg.
It's trying to get out of here. I'm gonna lunge and land on top of it.
From the ground, you
Jump and land.
You want to get? You're on the ground.
Oh yeah, fuck! I forgot I'm on the ground. Okay.
You
Zerg,
can
get
move
up.
5 feet from the ground as an action, but I figure if you want jumping, you probably want to pull yourself up first.
Yeah. I thought I was like on my knee at this point. All right, Zerg's gonna stand up and sort of like, you know how you start a sprinting race, so you're sort of
Yeah.
when Mark's get set. As he's getting up, he's gonna get that kind of action, run and lunge, and spear tackle the wolf with the intent to do damage.
Give me an attack roll, Zerg.
29.
I think you've had a 19, an
angry.
18, a 17, and an 18 to hit him. Zerg
spears
is
everything.
fucking mad. 29 is going to critically succeed.
With a 16 damage.
With 16 damage, we do this wolf.
Spear tackle it, and we go flying into the wall. I use the wolf's body to sort of protect myself from the wall as it crumbles under the weight of Zerg's shoulder and
And
falls
just
limp.
smashing this massive creature into the wall. It hits, and with a final yelp, collapses down onto the ground, broken and defeated.
Do not fuck with me. Wolf. Hair recedes.
Now you can
And,
see you can see most of your friends here strewn throughout the room. Arabis and Ara have clearly been torn apart by this wolf, where the lizard man doesn't appear to have any kind of physical injury or anything on him. He looks pale, again, almost drained of color. But all 3 of them are certainly not moving.
Is there anything in the room that resembles a healing potion? In the
Looking around, you
shelving
actually-
on tables?
You actually have a couple of options because I believe tucked into Lizard Man's bandolier, there would be a healing potion that you know he
Perfect.
carries.
I'll rifle through everyone's pockets and get whatever I can.
I know Lizard Man has one. Does anybody else have one?
That's a negative for me.
So Lizard Man has the one. But looking
All right,
around
I'll
with a quick
swipe
glance
that.
under this one, you can see.
I'll swipe that and I'll don't metagame. Feed it into Lizard Man's mouth. Drink,
Oh.
lizard, drink. It's
What
okay.
kind
I don't think it's metagaming knowing which one's the medic.
And absolutely, a Zerg wouldn't think to pick up the healer who could then heal everyone else. He'd pick up the big guy who can do damage.
Lizard man, what
I'm
kind of
also
healing?
his best friend. Thank you very much.
What kind of healing
The
potion?
wingman.
What kind of healing potion is this? Is this
It's a
minor,
1d4.
It's still
1d4
yeah,
minor
1d4.
elixir of life?
Yeah.
Okay. D6 then.
Oh, d6, right. It's the shitty one.
So Zerg, you want to roll me a D6?
Yeah. 1d6 like that.
Yee.
That's a 2.
Lizard man.
Can I
Yeah.
hero point that?
You can't even put a potion though. Lizard man, you wake up on the floor, utterly exhausted, feeling like you can barely even move, with almost a dull 50-50 pain and just strange numbness. You barely even feel the floor that you're laying on your armor laying across you, or the potion being poured into your mouth. It even takes a couple seconds for your vision to come around, if you'd even be able to see Zerg kneeling over you.
Slap in the face.
Hey,
Give up, Lizard, give up!
Hey, stop, hey. Hey, stop slapping me, stop, hey, stop. Zig, don't kiss anyone in here. Ever. Just, if you
I
feel
wasn't
like
planning on it.
don't do it. It's never worth it. What's going on in here? What?
Well, I just kicked
What
the
is-
shit out of Wolf. Everybody's sleeping in some blood.
Oh.
You're the only person who isn't like bleeding all over the floor. Does Ara have
Arbus.
blood? You got sap, I guess. It's like
Does
blood.
Aura have sap?
Poor sap.
Poor
Hey,
sap. He's torn to shreds. Splinters everywhere.
Arbus. She looks like super dead. Can I check whether she's still alive? She looks pretty alive. I mean,
She does
besides
not look
being
very
almost
alive
dead.
at all. She looks like a wolf ripping her open, and her blood is all over the floor. However, you can make me a medicine check. You can make me an untrained medicine check. Not even to bring her up, just to like see if she even seems alive. With a 20, barely.
Zerg is trained in medicine. I didn't do that. Who did that? Zerg is very trained in medicine.
There's probably
He's better
something
at
you can't
medicine than he is intimidation.
Or dropped out of medical school.
That's a typo.
I mean, I guess it makes sense because you and Lizardman's act is like throwing each other around and shit. So
Oh yeah, I suppose.
I thought
Dealing
about
with,
it, I
like-
just didn't take it.
it must have
Is it
made
because-
sense at one point because I didn't put it on your character sheet. So like,
I guess
Zerg's
we're
in medical
learning
school
our bodies
dropout.
or something like bodybuilders. I don't know. Okay.
It's probably a barbarian thing, maybe.
Yeah.
oh, it might be a
I'm fairly
barbarian
certain
or
I
a
didn't
background
put
thing.
that.
Yeah, it could be.
Let's see, barbarian details. When do you train him?
Ulva taught you.
Lizard, I think you'll
Yeah.
find that the aortic artery here has been
I have no idea.
The lesions
Um,
here are whatever the fuck. I can't even pretend to know medical mumbo jumbo.
It may very
Whatever.
well be a barbarian thing.
It is not.
Maybe a background.
I just did
thing.
that.
It must be a background
Okay.
thing or something.
Racial
Because Zerg
thing?
apparently he's got some basic medical knowledge, and Arbus certainly has a healer's kit. So
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Zerg, you can absolutely try to bring him around.
Oh no.
Let's do it.
Oh no.
Okay, so I don't think Aura's or torso or head are supposed to be in those positions. Or legs, actually. I'm not sure. Did Aura always look like that?
I can't tell. All trees look the same to me.
That's
I think that's a foot. No, that's got to be a foot.
I think he just spoke. Free racism, bring him back.
You're doing a great job, Zig. I really like it. Go for it. You're doing
You
already
bush.
magic hands.
Okay, you go tend to the little plant. I fix up out of these.
I'm gonna try and lay out Ara in a way that I feel would probably be where Ara is supposed to be laid out.
Trying to put all the limbs back where they're supposed to go. As Zerg, as you can take Arvis's healer's kit on her bandolier and try to patch her up.
Yep. 25.
Oh,
That
nice.
critically succeeds! Zerg is great at this!
It was the kid.
Fungus.
It's the kid.
Zerg is gonna restore 4d8 health to Aramis over the course of 10 minutes, which is probably the amount of time it takes Lizard Man to assemble to kind of Mr. Potato Head the pile of bits and sticks that Ara's been reduced to in the corner.
I'm as
Giant
surprised as
sticks on
Zerg is.
bubble.
The 4d8, do I roll that?
4d8, yeah. Zerg
flabbergasted.
Batsky, MD.
Wait for the damage roll. Oh, there.
Oh,
it is.
fuck.
Oh, what?
I don't.
20.
I quit.
20 health? 4, 5, 5, 6.
I knew
That's
it
not-
was coming.
That's only like 2 higher than average, so like,
That's above
pretty good.
You're welcome.
pretty good. Pretty good out of 10.
So, Aramis, you wake up to Zerg
Hello.
with some phenomenally effective and clearly well-taught medical treatment, bandaging your wounds, treating you, applying poultices to where you've been more severely ripped to pieces, and nursing you back to health. Lizard Man, you see next to you, trying to put Ara's limbs in the right place.
I want to rub my face. Mr. Batsky?
Now we're even. You were dead, man. Don't make this about. You got to keep track of these things.
I think. Ow. Oh, I think you still. I still have one on you, I believe.
Yes.
But don't
good
kiss
point.
it.
All right.
Don't kiss her this time. Don't kiss anyone in here. It's bad luck. Don't kiss her.
When we get back, first round's on me, okay?
Round of what?
Oh, not again. Forget about it. I owe you one. Let's go.
Okay. Where did Celwynne go?
I forgot he
know.
was not here.
Well, I mean, she's. We'll figure it out. We just have to find her, I guess. I feel like I've got most of the pieces. I don't know if the left arm and the right arm.
I can do it.
Lizard Man at literally 2 health, I imagine, is actually just like laying flat on the ground, just moving bits of Ara around, like barely conscious. And the color does not appear to be returning to him. He still looks almost pale here.
They've turned me into a trog. They probably those female trogs were all whitish. They probably turned me into female. No, I'm never gonna be a male ever again.
Why don't you sit down next to him?
I am sitting down.
I'm so okay. Just,
You're not gonna be turned into a female. I'm turned into a female. They turned me into a female trog after kissing someone.
I don't
That's
even
how it happens.
understand what you're talking about right now. Where's
You
my
don't understand because
Mr.
you're a
Batsky,
girl
can I have
already.
my bandolier back, please. I need to treat these people.
Take it. I don't need this.
Okay, thank you.
So, with a further 10 minutes of Arabis trying to treat Lizard Man and Ara here, Zerg, what are you going to be doing while this is going on?
I guess looking around the room some more for.
Yeah, what's that cool mask in the corner?
Good idea.
Yeah.
So looking around, yeah, the strange demon mask on the counter would almost certainly be the first thing that you're drawn to, as it looks somewhat out of place. It's a demonic visage of a very beautiful woman, actually. with a pair of curved dark horns heading out of the top, and bright red paint as rings around the two small holes for the eyes. The mouth into a wide grin with huge jutting fangs above and below, coming over both sets of lips. It's unsettling almost even to just look at.
Cool. I take it.
Alongside that on the desk is several books on various subjects, a few what look like ancient religious texts to Erran, some scholarly researching articles, some even farming treatises about the fertility of the land and various effects on the Starstone Isles. Next to them is a simple teak case that looks about as well made and extravagant as everything else in here. About a foot long, 6 inches tall, and maybe 2 inches deep, laying flat on the table.
Zerg can be bothered with reading, and none of this is terribly interesting to me, but maybe the lizard, come have a look at this when you're Arabus, come have a look at this.
I am busy, sir.
Looking around the rest of the room, everything in here just oozes luxury and wealth. From the silk pillows strewn across the bed to the incredibly elegant clothing neatly folded and piled in the crates along the western side of the room where the succubus that originally pretended to be bound. A lot of this stuff is pretty valuable, but it's luxuries. It's things nobles would buy. It's lush pillows and fine dresses. There's no battle axes or armor.
We should take the pillows. They look like super comfy.
I think
like we
Ulva
should
would
take
look
the
very
pillows.
nice in this dress.
It looks a bit small, don't you think? I mean, I'm not saying anything.
What are you trying to say? You're trying to say something?
I think no.
Subtext. I read it.
No,
There's
I'm not saying anything.
3 pillows on the mattress, 2 of which are probably pretty sprayed with at least a little bit of Arabus's blood.
A little bit of
and
blood.
3 more in the crates nearby. The 6 of them you could probably sell for a couple gold pieces each. They've got the little tassels on the corners. They're
Who's
fine
talking
made
about
silk.
selling the pillows?
Well, there's 6 very fancy silk pillows you could keep.
Perfect. I think we should keep these pillows. They look like super nice pillows, and I think they look super comfortable.
And fishing through the crates, even keeping a dress or 2 for Ulva, if there's not ones anyone else wants, there's probably even still like 16 gold worth of nice dresses, finery, scarves, and shoes in here that all appear to be relatively mundane. And in the bottom of one of them, a golden statuette about 2 inches high, one of the oddest knickknacks ever, of a spray of water and a flying fish arcing over it, which appears to be made of at least actual gold plating, worth about 11 gold pieces by itself.
Well, if we ever find Celwynne, we'll bring it back here. She'll probably know this stuff.
While this is all happening, Arabus, of course, is attempting to treat her 2 friends here. Are we going for the expert or the trained DC, comrade?
Expert.
Go big or go home.
Ooh, 29.
Excellent.
Ooh,
Almost.
Almost. It's 30, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so close. So close and yet so far. So as you are working to treat Lizard Man and are over the 10 minutes here, again, you feel like you're becoming pretty adept at this. And with your work over 10 minutes, perhaps Zerg's expertise has bled into these tools now and may aid you, making you slightly better at your job. That is actually going to critically succeed. And you're going to restore 4d8 plus 10 health to Aura and to Lizard Man.
Huh.
Good amount of health.
26.
So Aura, with that 26 health coming in, is going to wake up joining the party here. Lizard Man is going to be looking at least somewhat better. Though treating him is difficult because he doesn't have, again, no physical injuries of any kind. But he is feeling somewhat better from the treatment. You can tell from working on him that the damage he sustained is almost just raw magical energy, similar to the effects of what the worm demons had done back at the church. It looks like he has been exposed to copious amounts of negative energy, raw negative energy, that knocked him unconscious.
That is not good. Continue drinking your chamomile tea. It should
Ouch.
I'm stitching your head back together at the moment. Don't move.
Oh gosh, the arm. Oh, the arm. I think we put the wrong arms on the wrong side.
I know what I am doing, lizard. Wait.
Look
Did
at
my
his
arms-
elbows.
Did my arms break off? Because I think they're on the wrong side.
Did I put it in the wrong spot? No.
I think the elbows are
Well,
backwards.
he's got thumbs on the outside for the rest of his life, I guess.
I'm just kidding. They're right. See, look.
Oh.
Oh god, man, oh god, it's creepy. Okay.
Okay.
That hurts.
Can you do that all the time? Is
What,
that just natural?
Turn your arms. You can.
Holy shit!
Holy, oh my god.
That's
Have
amazing!
we always been able to do that?
Probably.
Right side?
Anyways.
Left side. Right side?
This
Left
place is
side.
creepy.
Where's Selwynne?
Left side. Right side.
I'm not.
Never gonna be able to tell people which one's my right arm ever
I
again.
think. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, we had to find her. She probably just got lost. I mean, Zig got lost.
Right side. Left side.
Her swords
right
are
side.
laying
Eh?
over there. She would not leave them.
Oh, that is true, actually. Good
I
point.
go over and pick up her swords.
Maybe she's a
Swords.
hostage.
And
Maybe
Zerg,
we
as you
have
look
to
around the
save
room,
her.
also, you would definitely see Selwyn's twin swords were laid in the entryway here. They have been dropped right next to each other where you fought the wolf. You've actually fought the wolf like right on top of them.
Are they okay?
They look like they're doing fine.
Oh, it's Clara
bloody.
and Carl. We got to take them to her.
And they are
Yeah.
bloodied, certainly.
Oh, they need to be cleaned.
So what you're saying is we have to rescue the princess. Because I've been training for this day my whole life.
It's
That's
true. Lizard
Princess.
dreams about princess. Is kind of adorable. I like it.
Well, telling me this story. I never heard the princess story.
So we are the heroes, and we go and we save the princess. And that's the story.
Is
For
Okay.
one time, I heard story about some red-wearing knight who went to castle and princess was not there, and this mushroom was talking. Says he's not here. He's in different castle, and we all laugh, have big drink, and we kill the mushroom. This is a very funny story. I like this story. Anyway,
Then-
should we go?
But then they saved the princess
Eventually.
at the next castle. Anyways,
okay.
we had to go save someone. Is basically the whole point of the story is that we have to go save someone. But
all
I feel like we could use some more healing.
Yeah,
All
we
four
need to
of you
spend more
are
time.
are pretty injured still. Lizard Man feeling the worst of it with the late and after effects of this succubus. Your max health right now is 44.
Welcome to my level.
His max. All right. Is there okay? Since I established that was negative energy, is there anything I could do to figure out to treat that and get him back to?
With your critical
Tip-top.
success, I'll also give you. You can tell that Lizard Man has been drained. In addition to the negative energy that has just killed him directly, nearly. This draining is going to make him physically much weaker, dramatically more frail, and it's difficult to counteract. But he is drained 4.
I don't.
I think I just had to sleep it off, man.
You
I'll be
need, to
fine.
be,
I'm a tough guy.
you need to be careful in the future. You're not going to be as sturdy as you once were.
Also, not gonna kiss any women. God, that
Yeah.
was awful.
I thought we were having a sweet moment, and then, as Celwynne would say, all hell broke loose.
She would also say, I don't know, a lot of stuff. She normally says a lot of stuff.
She's very long-winded.
Very
She does say a
long-winded.
lot of things, I know, but
I'm being put on blast when I'm not even here to defend myself. This is bullshit.
that's usually what happens in parties.
The roasting.
She
Unbeknownst.
knows. She knows a
Someone's
lot of
really
big
considering
words.
this deal now.
She knows a lot of big words, and I don't understand most of them, but I just nod and agree. It makes her happy.
Yeah. So, how do we get more health?
Day. Let me keep working.
Good plan. Good plan.
It's gonna take you some amount of time here, because you're gonna need to
Can I
Treat them
assist
for,
with
like-
that healing?
half an hour or so. You can,
Oh.
if Arvis will let you.
You could heal
Need the
Arvis.
helping
Look
hand.
how good you are at that, though. That was really good.
I'm going to have a train of heal.
Do you
guess.
want to? Do you want to help Arvis? Do you want to let him help you, rather?
He seems very intent on assisting. I will allow him to assist.
If it doesn't
Alrighty.
work, I back off. You can do it. I just think I could maybe help a little bit.
Zerg, go ahead and give me a medicine check first. And who are you treating now, Arvis?
Myself and Lizard, because we're the ones over here.
Zerg is
guess.
amazing at this.
22?
A 22. He's gonna give you a +2 to your medicine check, Arvis.
He's like handing me all the right things. I'm like,
Like, yeah, today's revelation is that Zerg is actually great at this.
Scalpel, sponge. Yes, yes.
now the pressure's on me.
Just had to ask. You already know. You're just watching, like, oh, this is the part where you you need this size scalpel. Yeah, these
You
forceps
suture
will
this
help
with
take.
your.
He's like giving me tips.
No,
Tell
you
me you
cannot
sterilize
stitch that.
this.
It
Did you
is negative
sterilize?
energy. Will not heal correctly. Alright, Arvis, give me
all
a
right.
medicine check.
Yeah.
Ooh.
29 again.
Yeah, with a +2 from Zerg, 31 is certainly going to critically succeed. 4d8 plus 10 health to yourself and Lizardman. Oh, we don't roll.
Bangers.
Hot
27.
Alright.
27.
Sorry, you
20.
said 44?
44,
Minus
yeah,
16.
that'll... You will heal up Lizardman about as well as you feel like you can. Because in his current state, yeah, because it's minus 16, because you're level 4,
Yeah,
4
yeah.
drained, yeah.
Right.
But you touch yourself and Lizardman up. And with that, you guys look reasonably okay. During the 10 minutes where this is going on and Zerg is assisting here, Ara, as you're just kind of poking around the room and looking, you can also see the pile of books and texts and notes that are on the desk, as well as that teak case.
I want to open that teak case.
Inside of it, there are a matching set of small crystal vials, triangular prisms about 1.5 inches tall, set up in a huge amount of velvet lining. Very much the majority of the inside of the case is packing and embroidery. But these 4 tiny vials all are filled. The first 2 clear, the second a faint amber, and the third a faint pink.
That might be a love potion. I wouldn't touch it.
I close it. And tuck it away. I don't think the mean lady's gonna need this anymore. Solomon might want it.
Now, on the desk, poking through what you have here, it appears to be again a whole bunch of scholarly texts, tomes, treatises, encyclopedias with various knowledge pertaining to farming, hunting, the seasons, and what little there is about the Erran Towers themselves, as well as some religious texts of Erran and some various descriptions and writings of his old life as a human, his various acts, the miracles he performed, a lot of it seemingly focused on these towers and the Aeon Orbs. None of it's a assortment of knowledge spread across a dozen books, and none of it seems to be notated or marked or any way. So it's just books and information you can find in any library, really. What's useful is the small pad of parchment that Tylvi appeared to have been using to keep her own personal notes. She has a lot of what you all would have actually heard from me talking to Celwynne, which you could also learn from this notepad here, that she went to the Hermitage and trying to get some assistance with the Aeon Orbs and to learn more about them. Took great joy in corrupting the druids within, but learned that they didn't really know much more than she had found already. And she seems to have just gotten bored, expressing disinterest with how easy humans were to corrupt. Left them to their own devices after spurring Ariad into a righteous fervor and turning her towards the town of Abberton. Ariad, of course, being the druid who had killed Thunder in the first place. The halfling who had attacked the circus. Tylvi pretty much sent her there directly. She then headed to the tower herself to investigate. Found the troggs here, equally easily, worked her way in amongst them, but didn't seed as hard, didn't dominate them like she had with the druids, because they were already here on their own ends, and she was curious if Sku'ul Kanta had any aptitude to make progress, which, as her notes indicate, she clearly did not. Her next destination seems to be a temple called Moonstone Hall. According to Kanta, his leader sent him here from Moonstone Hall to the tower in the name of Zevgavazeb, which she has some little investigations about, to come attempt to destroy this orb and do the best he can. And her next plan, as she seems to be growing bored of this too, is to head there and see if, well, maybe the Trogg higher-ups are a little less stupid. It also notes that Moonstone Hall is a temple beneath the city of Escadar, the home of the Celestial Menagerie, the city that all of you would have fled from before forming the Circus of Wayward Wonders.
Gotcha.
I pocket the notepad too. And someone likes words as well, so I'll give this to her as well. She's a woman who likes a lot of things.
So, with this kind of rooted through and looked over, the case, the notes, most of the party here largely healed up. You've been here for, well, you don't know how long unconscious, but at least half an hour afterwards, and that overwhelming, oppressive heat is still present. You're sitting in your own blood and sweat here, literally, stewing in 110-degree, motionless, dry air. Do you want to go for more heals, or? Zerganara are still a fair bit injured, but you feel like you've done about all you can for yourself and Lizard Man.
I would like to, but I mean that's not up to me entirely.
I think we need to find Celwynne.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of odd that she would leave the knives here.
I'm a little worried. She left Clara and her other one here. She has a lot of them.
It would only take you 10 minutes to do one more heal check on Zerganara, and you've already been sat here for half an hour investigating, so I mean, at this point, if the matter was that urgent...
What's another 10 minutes?
If the matter was that urgent...
Ara's not going to sit still long enough. He wants to find someone.
Zerg, however, seems very much more interested in receiving a little bit more attention.
Are you sure?
Opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah. Well, if no one else is going, he's not going by himself.
Have a seat.
All right, roll me one more medicine check.
Oh,
31.
nice.
What a champion. Crit into crit into crit.
3 crit medicines.
4d8 plus 10 to the stick and the green lad.
The mean and the green. Or the green and the greener.
And the
Oh,
green.
nice.
32 health.
Oh,
Chunky.
Jeez.
I'm boop.
I would top off everyone. And with that, the four of you head out, try and discover where Celwynne had gone. Now, you know that you've explored much of this area here, and there's not a whole lot of various directions, really, that Celwynne could have gone. A quick glance to the pit that Zerg had discovered as he was looking through the area on his way over here confirms that that's almost certainly not where she would have went, though. None of you really want to take the risk of moving too close to the edge and something stupid happening.
And but just before we leave, is if everybody's outside of the room and I'm like Arvis is kind of looking away from the room, I'd just sneak back into the room real quick and just punt the wolf as hard as I could up against the wall over next to the bed, or no, the wall up against above the desk and drawers and stuff.
Just kick the stupid wolf. I don't know if you can punt it properly. It's pretty heavy. It's a huge wolf. It's probably a couple hundred
I will
pounds.
put I will punt it as hard as I can. Let's say it's the effort that counts.
It's about sending a message, not moving the wolf necessarily. You run in.
Okay, and then
the rest of you hear it quick. And then Zerg skitters back out to the party as the group of you head over. The only place Celwynne really could have gone. The central stairs leading to the rooftop. And that, chat, is where we should take our midstream break. As almost certainly atop this roof waits for us the end of the show must go on. The finale of our first chapter. Our rematch with Tylvi. And finally coming face to face with Sku'ul Kanta, the leader of the Troggs. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. And when we return, we end this chapter of our adventure. One way or another. Be right back. Alrighty. Welcome back, everybody. And a quick question before we dive back into this. Can you guys hear the fan coming through my microphone? No. Okay, because it's really hot in here. I'm
it's really hot here
tower,
too.
so I had to bring my box fan in here. It's very hot. So I'm hoping that doesn't come through. Anyway, as we left off, we stood at the precipice of disaster here. The finale of the show must go on. And as Zerg, Ara, Lizard Man, and Arabis ascend this spiraling staircase up floors, dozens of feet, far more than I'm sure any of you have ever imagined a staircase could possibly go. Lizard Man, in his state of so severely drained, is going to be particularly exhausted by this climb. The group of you would finally arrive up to the summit. You would see
Hi, guys.
a situation much like what I had described to Celwynne earlier, but all splintered. You come to the top of this 8-pointed marble star that crests the Erran Tower. You can see a trio of Zolgoth fighters directly ahead of you, standing around, one of them directly on some charcoal scrolls. Each of the Troggs in front has a club in one hand and a javelin in the other, and even as you're already coming up the stairs, they already look like they're ready to fight. The one behind them, standing almost head and shoulders above the rest, the scale mail, the massive rock hammer, he has both hands on his warhammer, planted on the ground in front of him. And even as you get this last couple twirls of the staircase here, you can hear the shouting in Undercommon across the rooftop. On the other side is Celwynne, who looks completely and totally unharmed, standing with the demon who had killed all of you. And the smaller, flappy demon, which would definitely be at full health by this point because it could heal itself, sitting there off to the side. Who has Celwynne's swords?
I do.
Ara does. As you get up to the top, the largest of the troggs, behind him, this massive pterodactyl, perched on the westmost point of the rooftop. A creature standing easily 10, 12 feet tall, with a 20-foot wingspan. This trogg pounds the haft of his hammer on the ground and calls out in undercommon. You have more! You seek to replace us! This will not stand! Kill them! And as he yells out this war cry that nobody coming up the stairs immediately understands, the two troggs in the front immediately rush forward towards you. Friends, I'm gonna need initiative. I had so many people to initiative. Okay. Okay, got everything here. And oi. Piece of oh, that's the wrong one. And then I gotta roll like 9 initiatives, bear with me. There's so many people in this battle. It's actually crazy. I need this. And I need 2 of these. And I need the unit. Well, good news for everyone involved. I have 2 villain points, and the one from previously Biggest Phallus is going to immediately be spent on Sku'ul's initiative. So you got that going for you, which is nice. A little better. At least it went up, right?
That's what I like to hear.
At least it went up, right? All right. That there. Look at it. It's a beautiful initiative table. Look at how big it is. Look how many things are on it. 2 Trogg warriors. There's a couple names here that certainly don't need to be hidden. Sku'ul Kanta himself, Tylvi, her Quasit, a pterodactyl. His final battle's got everything. But first off, it's got Tylvi. When she sees these warriors rushing forward towards the stairs, she puts a hand on Celwynne's shoulder. Well, truth be told, love, I was getting a bit bored of this anyway. Best of luck. And she takes a step back. And as she does, Extrum Dementia.
Oh, this is bullshit.
And you see her form almost duplicate off. Nearly an after image. Shooting into the distance in an instant.
Oh.
Completely gone. And she leaves.
Well, that's unfortunate. Or fortunate. I'm not sure yet.
The pterodactyl here is going to fly forward. This creature a bit quicker than the rest of the troggs here, standing there on the ground. And as it flies, soaring just barely a bit out of reach here, just skimming above the group of you. It's gonna see, well, Ara probably looks like the tiniest little thing it can pick up in its beak. As it glides by, its massive beak is just gonna strike down towards you.
What is with things and putting me in their mouth? I do not appreciate
You are gonna get
it.
pecked for a 24.
That's going to peck me real good too.
Not like crit real good, right? Like,
No.
no way you have 14 AC. Please God, no.
Oh, please, no. I like this.
He's gonna peck you for 8 piercing damage. And then continue sailing on by to the back end of the platform, where he's gonna kind of unsteadily land, hopping a bit. As you can clearly see, one of his wings is pretty injured and he can't fly very well. First, the Troggs is just gonna chuck his javelin towards the thing that's the closest in front of him, which is Zerg, because we've established they're not great at throwing these. And it's gonna fly at you for a 22. He can apparently do it from 10 feet away.
And that's gonna hit Zerg. He's coming up the stairs. I wasn't expecting any of this.
I just got here. Calm down. You get struck by a javelin for 5 damage before he
And
rushes.
As that javelin hits, where's it hitting me? Where did he throw it?
Well, it's not a
aiming
great.
at?
It's only 5 damage, so it's probably just gonna glance your shoulder.
So as this javelin strikes off and flings off in the other direction, Zerg looks at his freshly wounded arm and back at him. Oh, it's like this. Okay. And immediately enter into his rage as a reaction.
The calmest entering of
So
rage.
if you do that as a reaction, this warrior's running forward. He's gonna turn to the side and charge Lizardman instead, because he just threw a spear at you pretty solidly. You shrugged it off and turned into a giant ape, and he's just nope, turns right.
I'm gonna fight him.
Well, fight the lizard instead. And he is going to bring his club down towards you with the 6.
And I just knock it away. It's pathetic.
He is no longer really, his heart's not in it anymore.
Are there
After
critical
the,
fails?
the first, yeah, that's gonna critically fail for sure. But it doesn't, you can't, a critical fail on a strike doesn't inherently do anything, and none of you have
Okay.
anything to take advantage of it. Well, then you play test
Swashbuckler's
classes. Swashbuckler
opportune. Yeah.
gets to AOO if you critically
Oh,
fail
cool.
them. They have
Cool.
parry to hit you back. Zerg!
Zerg has a mouthful of chips because he's stress eating right now.
I'd rather have a
Give Zerg
token
just a
for
second.
this.
Oh
Forgot I added
Oh,
this
there
in.
it
That's the
is.
one. That's what we
Yeah.
want. Zerg is going to charge and tackle this nearest motherfucker with the intent of pinging him to the ground.
All right, so give me an athletics.
That's a 30. I think I got him.
Ooh, baby.
That is going to easily critically succeed. And you actually slam him to the ground so hard, he is going to take 2 damage. That is critically successful trip steal damage too.
And with him prone and Zerg over his body, just a punch to the face. 29.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, is he pissed?
Let's
Minus
go.
4, because the
Mon-
9
is
of
it
not
minus
going to
four?
attack
Sorry.
rate, so 25 is still, because he's prone, gonna critically succeed.
Oh my
wow.
God!
Okay, well, I'll take a 25
And
damage.
you knock him on the ground and just, he's dead. Like, that man is no longer alive.
That's fucking.
That's a raging barbarian.
Wow.
Do I still have another turn?
You have 1 action left.
I'm gonna pick up his body.
All right, you got a corpse. Selwyn, you got no
Do I see
weapons.
Aura
You
with,
can see Ara come up the stairs, and he probably. Ara, how do you hold it? You have her swords. Where are they?
There's in my arms.
He's literally carrying them like a squire out in front of him.
I'll run up and can I reach him from here?
Yeah, He's near the top of the stairs, so you can walk up as an
Yeah.
action. Second action, you can
Yeah.
grab both your swords.
Yeah. Hey, Aura, I see you have my swords. May I? Can I have them, please? Over
I
here.
just hold him back behind me. Just
Yoink.
go.
Thank you. Let's see. What am I? Am I within range? I am. Perfect.
I got one action left.
Yes, exactly. And I'll speak to it in Undercommon with a bit of a glint in my eye. Well, got my swords back. Looks like your plans are like your calculations. Fucking terrible. I'll intimidate him.
Wait, the big guy?
The big. Wait, is this 45?
He's 35.
Could I can move to here, right? Then-
Yeah, you can do that single stride. Yeah, you can.
For 32, natural 20.
Shit!
Suddenly, uncertain by the gorilla insta-giving one of his warriors, and Tylvi leaving him with this army that arrived at his doorstep, Sku'ul looks a little shaken. Lizard man.
I really. So this means since I'm -4 on everything, all attack rolls and everything, or is that just
No,
health?
-4 on anything con-based. So your health is down, you're -4 on your fortitude saves.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
I think it's actually just fortitude saves for drained.
Okay, I'm going to. I'm like all my adrenaline's going crazy here. I'm going to sprint at the guy with the biggest hammer.
As you run
Clearly the
forward,
best option here.
you hit a wall of stench unlike anything you've ever experienced in this tower so
Oh
far.
god.
Oh,
It seems
no.
like the
Good save,
sheer
you say.
body odor of Zolgats grows as they do. Because Kanta, the smell is indescribable. I need a fortitude
Okay,
save.
so-
Yes.
-4, so 23.
23 will succeed.
Like this
And I'm going. So I sprint up to this guy and just full flying kick, trying to shove him back.
Just boot
Oh
him.
my god.
Boot him. For a 20.
A 20 is going to fail. If Kanta
Okay,
is
now
nothing
I'm-
if not huge and pretty bulky.
Okay.
But
So I
that
will.
does stagger him back. That barely fails.
Okay. Well, I'm also a bit spooked. Also with my health and whatnot. I think I'll just move back and head like over here. This seems like a good spot for me.
You run up,
I'm gonna
drop
move back
kick him,
over here.
He staggers him and he just run away. He's like, bitch.
I'm like,
All right, never mind. I'm out of here.
yeah, okay, that was a great idea. Next time, though. Next time.
The Quasit, an incredibly high-pitched voice, almost looking around in panic, flapping there, screeches out, "Tell me! Wait!" and just flies over the edge of the tower and flies down vaguely in the direction she just vanished off into. And Sku'ul, enraged, as he stumbles back, raises up his hammer and growls out in undercommon like someone can understand. Watch me, Zev Gavazeb! I'll end them in your name! And steps forward towards Lizard Man, this warhammer overhead. And without letting go of the half with either hand, raising it yet higher as he comes closer, cries out an incantation that you may, as players, recognize by this point. Negas Mayhem! And as he brings the hammer down, instead of this energy rippling out of him, it swirls up into the head of his mallet. Dark purple essence coalescing around it as he smashes it down towards Lizard Man. For the villain point, I'll use my second one, Loopy Caster. Come on, Kanta. For a 28.
That does not crit. It gets a solid hit in, but does not crit. Kind of take the brunt of the blow, but get in a pretty good area.
And as this the hammer connects with you, just pure overwhelming strength, smashing you for 11 damage. But as it connects, you also feel the discharge of this negative energy. And the magic washes out of the mallet for an additional 19 damage. So 30 total as he strikes. As the hammer crashes down through Lizard Man into the ground, he lets go with one hand. Clypeus! Throwing up a magical shield in front of himself. Ara.
That was rude. Ara is gonna say some words, and at the end is like, I want to introduce y'all to my new friend. Pulls out a seed, throws it, and summons a Gourdleshi. I'm gonna summon plant and fungus Gourdleshi.
Oh, Jesus.
Right here behind
Okie dokie.
Celwynne.
So as you summon this creature in, this is going to get only slightly confusing as far as the map is concerned, because I'm just going to make a second Ara. Oh, I have an idea.
That's
No,
racist.
Well, I don't have anything else. Here, you can use this. Arbus, don't look at it. It's definitely a Leshy.
You should have made
Yeah,
like a RS token, but smaller.
It's a Gourdleshi, and it's a pumpkin head, and it has an angry face on it.
I will get you an angry face pumpkin head gourd Leshy for later. Let me give you control of this little thing here. Alrighty. And where's it go?
Right here. Right behind Celwynne.
Okay. Is that you?
Clap my
Is that
hands.
everything?
Yep, that's 3 actions.
Oh, so you're right. Summoning's actually big in second edition. It's
Yeah.
much more well balanced. Arbus.
Okay. Okay. Well, Lizard looks messed up all of a sudden again. I just fixed him.
It looks like the con to strength, even frightened as he is, almost brought him down in a single blow.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna reach out towards the. Actually, can I? I can see him from where I'm at, right? Like I'm not like down level on stairs.
Yeah, you're up high enough on the stairs that you can see the whole platform. These stairs
Okay.
are much more normal. These aren't like the crazy vertical stairs from to the second floor.
All right, I am going to reach out to the lizard man. Man, this hurts. And I'm just going to cast a heal on him, and some light raindrops land on his forehead and start to stitch up some of the wounds. Maybe not as much, but any little bit can help at this point, I'm sure. Yeah. For 12 HP. And this area on the stairs here, is it like an awning? Like
It's
how we
basically a
came
spiral
up?
staircase that comes up to the top floor. So this part right here goes down below, underneath, and continues spiral underneath the main platform and continues all the way back down to where you came from.
Yeah, I wanna kind of go down like under the awning, because after I saw the bird do the strafe attack, I'm thinking maybe he can't get me.
That's fair. Very
Yeah.
reasonable. So
Very
you'll
fair.
go down below. We'll give you this little castle here. So you're just underneath that where the pterodactyl maybe can't reach you.
Yep.
This little warrior, inspired by his leader, is going to step forward, just swinging out with a little club that he's got towards Lizard Man. Swiping for a 20. You're muted, Ben.
And that's just going to glance off, like just barely making.
And as he misses
So
with
just
that
made it.
one, he is, as that kind of glances to the side, unable to really recover his balance. He's just going to try to swipe with his other free hand. I was going to javelin his other hand. No, he can't even do that. He's just going to swing the club again, I guess. You can't even use your Agile Claw, you idiot, for a 9. And
That does not hit.
you seem like you're much more standard little lads here. This giant creature, this pterodactyl, is going to hop a little bit and then take wing again. Not gliding very far, just gliding down about 20-25 feet to the south, around just behind the staircase. Pecking down at this new little food-looking thing, as it does. And its beak is going to strike at your new Leshy for a 14, actually.
At 14 does not hit the little Leshy.
Little buddy.
And as he lands,
Yeah.
he'll turn around, confused, and peck at it again. Its beak almost too large to effectively strike down at it for a 10.
And that's a negative.
All right,
Unless she's just little tiny friend.
Zerg. You have a corpse.
Zerg with corpse in one monkey paw and one monkey paw free is going to hold the corpse out forward and use it as a battering ram as I charge into the big boy.
So just rushing forward.
I want to basically shove, so move and then shove the corpse into this dude as like a second. Once I get there,
Okay.
that'd be
Give
push him
me
back.
an athletics here.
18.
18, as this energy and this fury overwhelms him here, he turns and this other corpse slams into him. He plants his claws in the stone and barely moves an inch. He is physically massively formidable.
I'm gonna throw the corpse at the little dude next to him.
Okay.
23.
Uh,
I assume that was athletics. I'm throwing.
Yeah.
It's a strength throw, right?
yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's like an attack, right?
you're right up next to him. Yeah, I guess we'll just give me, just give me an attack roll, I guess, yeah.
Attack with the body.
To toss that from right next to him.
17.
What's your modifier here? With a 17, you slam this corpse down past him. As he's realizing he's making no progress with Lizard Man, and he is not Kanta. He's not the legend that his leader is. He's a little more on defensive and ducks under this. And Selwyn.
Alright. No, that's not gonna work. Well, in for a penny. I'll move down here.
Front line team.
Yeah. And with my swords back. Gonna kiss my swords first. Bloody SDR with Arbus's blood on, honestly. It's kind of pretty creepy, huh?
Clean
And
it,
I will.
think.
Probably, I was about to say, or probably clean them up on the way
Yeah,
up.
a little bit. That's still,
Prestidigitation.
it's probably still dry, though. And I will go for the twin feint. And I would like to session reroll that hot 4 on a die.
Okay.
Because I'm not spending on any hero points yet.
That's fair.
For a 17 on the first hit.
17 will definitely hit.
For 10 damage. And
I'm
then
gonna
comes
first thing. Very much swing off balance.
the 1 and 2, right? The Celwynne special, the classic. For 10. That's very unfortunate. I don't believe that'll hit.
He's trying to dodge everything. He's at full defensive at this point, and a 10 is not going to connect, even flat-footed.
I didn't figure.
Lizard man.
I'm gonna try and bring down this guy. And try and finish him off here. With a 20.
This is the regular trog.
Regular dude. Yep.
20 will connect. And
Okay, so 20 for 10 damage, and then I'm going to try
10
again.
damage is absolutely going to flatten him.
Oh, perfect.
He's not that strong.
Well, that's good because the second one was terrible, so that worked out great.
You missed because he was falling unconscious
He's already
dead.
dying. He's already crumpled.
Smack, and then I'm like,
Wait a
oh, wait a minute. And then I am going. Oof. Hopefully, I can just move around this man. Did anything
behind him?
happen? Yeah. Did anything
Does
happen?
not.
Can I move? Oh, good.
are good.
Perfect. So I move around him, and then I'm going to try and grab the back of his arm and try and grab him
Okay.
with a 18, unfortunately.
18 is going to
All
fail.
right, 17.
17 is still going to fail. Doesn't critically fail, but fails. So as he swings his mallet around and you come in and crush his underlings here, Zerg and Celwynne are now both very much exposed to the horror show that is his battle musk. And I need a fortitude save from each of you.
I don't like how you described that.
You should.
20?
14.
You are both going to fail. And both Zerg and Celwynne are going to be sickened 1 by this overwhelming stench, which is largely just a -1 to your everything. But not your damage. -1 to all of your rolls and all of your DCs, so your armor class and everything. Everything but damage. And he turns as Lizard Man moves behind him, cutting down another one of his men, still yelling and undercoming. You crush the weak! I am the strong! Nagans mayhem! And brings the hammer around towards you again, more of this energy welling up in its head as he does. And this is going to be a 22.
That just hits. He just ends up catching.
And between the spell and the hammer blow, all discharging in you simultaneously, you are going to take 44 damage. And Lizardman is absolutely going to be blasted unconscious. Tossed across the stone by the sheer force of this blow. And as his hammer crushes through Lizardman, Kanta turns around. Ha ha! You see? And then putting his arms wide, letting go of the hammer, he just lets out a scream. Ah! And as he does, the very ground, the marble tile, starts to crack and splinter from the sheer force that is rippling out of him as he yells. And I need Zerg, Arbus, and Celwynne to all make a fortitude save.
18.
17.
Down in my nook, or is it like because I hear him?
Oh, you're down underneath actually.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I would not reach you. You're okay actually. So just the two of you. Celwynne and Zerg. As you feel almost a physical blast, again strong enough to crack the stone, you are going to each take. Roll 20 leg. Here we go. You're going to each take 21 damage.
Oh, wow.
Ara. I guess 14 for Zerg because you just raged, so you have the 7 temporary health. Oh, you got it. You got it.
No joke at all. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and just sustain my Leshy immediately. And he's going to get his 2 actions, which he's just going to punch the pterodactyl if it's low enough for him to punch.
It's on the ground, yeah. It winged over and landed and tried to peck at him. It doesn't seem to be able to, again, it can't fly very well.
All right, so the first punch is going to be a natural 1.
Well, Pumpkin Boy
framed
is
out
not
that
feeling it super
He
hard.
just woke up. Cut him some slack. He's going to do it again. Natural 20.
Nice. Duality of man.
It's so weird how that happens like that.
That happens a lot. That's gonna critically succeed.
So
Natural
it's
20s do that.
Yes, it is 1d4 plus 2 damage. So 12 damage, and then he has to make a DC 17 reflex save from the punch.
Okie dokie.
If he fails, he's minus 10-foot penalty to his movement. If he critically fails, he's immobilized.
So he is fairly large, but he is a fairly quick little beast. But it's gonna be a 14 on the reflex save. So he is actually going to be what exactly?
It's minus 10-foot status penalty.
I get the mechanics, but what is it? What's happening?
It's as the Leshy punches him, vines just come out from him and sprout from the ground and wrap around the I want to say pterodon every time I see the word.
Pterodon.
The pterodon. He's just ensnared with a bunch of vines from the Leshy, which I need to name.
You all see this eruption of almost like a verdant netting restraining this pterodon, holding him. Arbus. You see the ceiling above you, dust and little
My other
splinters
2
of
actions.
rubble. Oh, That was right. That was just the plant. You
Yeah.
still have your actual moves.
Produce flame on the big guy behind me on Kanta.
Yeet.
Oh
Keep it
my.
simple.
That D4 just knocked the D20 over. Did we all
Yeah,
see
it
that?
did.
Yeah.
It did. Holy cow.
I didn't see it.
Oh, you gotta have 3D dice on, man.
I have it on. It's just my screen was covered up.
3D dice, so good. 27 is absolutely going to hit.
All right. Well, that's 13 fire damage to him.
And with this handful of flame, even hitting him fairly squarely, he almost seems to just shrug it off completely.
That's cheating.
Now Arvis. Not that he did any less damage, just that he is very strong.
So under my awning, I can't I can't see anything, I'm assuming.
No, that was the point of the awning.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah,
see
exactly.
Ara and the pumpkin
Okay.
up on the ledge of the stairs, I guess.
We both wave at Arvis simultaneously.
Doesn't produce flame with single action?
British Flames 2. Elemental tosses.
It's elemental toss. I see.
Okay, so I'm going to start. I see the Leshy battling the. He's on the ground, right? The big pterodactyl.
The pterodactyl's on the ground, yes.
I want to start walking up the stairs with my hands at my sides, raise my head slowly, and I start moving my hands around it, and a dark, thunderous cloud starts enveloping the pterodactyl, and a blast of lightning as I Tempest Surge him.
Alrighty.
Huzzah!
Excellent.
Oh, God.
You hear a
Did you
point
just
of
get a
damage.
2 on 2d12?
I did. I feel like that's destiny to at least use my session reroll on.
Well, session rerolls are d20s. You can't session reroll damage. You can't reroll damage at all,
Ah, well.
really. But as this
okay.
crackles down, put on edge
That's
by
fine.
these vines, he's already flailing and writhing, trying to get away. There's 4 pillars around this platform that hold up a stone ceiling across all of this. And between stone to stone, your electricity doesn't seem to be able to grab super well. He twists away, and he's going to get a 22 on his reflex save also, so he's going to take
Yikes!
1 damage. Then,
Look at my hands, kind of like puzzled.
very much upset by this pile of vines that are on him and this tiny pumpkin that's punching him into restraint, it's going to peck again down towards the little pumpkin for 25.
He hits.
And he's going to peck this little dingus for 9 piercing damage. And then, standing largely in place, he's just going to continue lashing at this. 17 on the second swing.
On the penny. Hits.
And a 16 on the final one.
This is 16 misses.
So he'll get you one more time. We'll get the pumpkin one more time for another 7 damage. As it seems to be
Pumpkin, you
wholly
do-
absorbed in trying to peck this thing to death.
Numero
Maybe
uno.
good.
Number 1.
It let me hit start streaming and it didn't give me an error, so that's a good sign. That's always a good sign.
Good start.
It's live.
Oh. Yeah, it's live. It's working.
Ah,
Yay.
huzzah!
Okay, yeah, Twitch just went completely down. That was, you have missed nothing. The last thing that happened was the pterodactyl trying to peck the Leshy. The good news is it just, like, went down. There was no, like, and stuttering. It just went down immediately.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we just stopped immediately. So we were exactly at the pterodactyl pecking the pumpkin. We're all good. We're all back. We're just going to pick up from where we are. Zerg.
Zerg. I'm gonna grapple the big boy.
Okay.
He refuses to surrender.
Why would he
It's athletics,
surrender?
yeah?
Yeah, it's
Yep.
athletics.
The big boy's unmovable.
With the 20?
20 is not going to do it.
Well, then I'll hero point it and throw it again.
For the future, we got a hero point before we see
Damn
if
it,
it
never
works. But yeah, well, the roll 20 is also teaching this lesson. A little lower. So you reach out, you try to grab a hold of him, and out as he shouts Like, the sheer force of this is almost throwing you off balance. And you just kind of swipe at him.
Is he tall? How tall is he?
It's probably about as tall as your gorilla form. He's about 6'10", probably. He's a pretty lofty, massive trog.
So almost as tall as you, Squid.
Almost as tall as me.
Jesus.
I'm gonna
That's the
uppercut him
same
in the
condition,
jaw.
too, because if he stood up straight, he'd be like a foot taller.
Yeah, that's a nice long neck with a nice overhanging jaw that I'm gonna uppercut into with a 14.
As you try to get your footing here, swinging at Kanta, this shout is really throwing you off balance.
I'm gonna get some damage in. Let's go for one last attempt at a -8.
-8, yep. Hands. The Zerg is
okay.
just swinging wildly over here. Celwynne.
I'm a monkey. I'm angry.
He's very, very angry monkey. You muted or thinking?
No, I'm thinking.
Okay.
I want to hold until after school concept.
Okay. So then, Lizard Man, I need you to make me a death save.
Okie dokie. Let's see here. 18.
With an 18, that will bring you up to stable. Just leaving you a wounded 1. And Sku'ul, as he cries, a wicked grin crossing his face, realizing that Zerg can't seem to touch him. He turns around and throws a hand down towards Lizard Man. Mortum Theloneo! And you see energy flow out of Lizard Man's dying body into Kanta.
What?
Lizard Man, make me a will save.
I don't have any will. Alright, 22. I apparently have more will than I thought. 22.
You die.
Pardon?
As Kanta absorbs the ebbing life energy flowing out of Lizard Man into himself, and you see him swell further, some of his wounds even closing. And turns back around. You are powerless! Swinging wide with his warhammer towards Zerg for a 15.
I duck.
Celwynne.
That's unfortunate. Well, don't want to step on any dead bodies, but I'll move up and strike twice. On the first, for a 29 on his flat-footed.
29 on his flat-footed is actually immediately going to critically hit.
For 26, as
Celwynne is
in
mad.
fury, stab him in the back. And for another, if roll 20 will stop blocking, for a hot 20, another crit.
You crit him again.
Stab him twice for another 22.
And with these two stabs, precise back-to-back, you see Kanta falter a bit, his hammer having swung wide from Zerg, and he calls out, again, only Celwynne can understand this, "You only bring more souls for the gluttonous dark!" Turning around to face
go
you.
fuck yourself.
Ara.
You're muted.
I realized. Aura falls completely silent, other than just pronounce some spell incantations and throws more fire at Kanta. for a
Oh my god.
Natural
Yes.
20.
for a natural 24 max,
Max damage now.
Natural
Max
20,
damage.
double 4s on the D4s.
and then
We know what it
2d4
takes to
persistent
draw
fire
out the
damage.
rage of the party. 28 fire damage into Kanta. This blast in his back almost knocking him down.
And he has 2d4 persistent damage, fire damage. And then I sustain the Leshy. And the Leshy's gonna throw sea pods at him.
Oh, let the Leshy fucking finish this.
Little pumpkin.
What great injustice.
First one. It's a 16.
16's gonna miss probably because he almost got knocked flat by all the damage he just took in 1 second.
The second one. That was a hell of a roll. For a 25 minus 5, I believe.
20 is just gonna miss, glancing off of the skill mill.
Okay.
Arbus.
I want to come up the stairs. I get to like 2, 3, to like here. 4, 2, 3, 4. Could I? All right. Looking at the combat that's happened here, can I tell?
Lizardman is definitely down, and he looks broken, like a bag of scales, where he's been smashed so hard by this hammer. Pretty large amount of blood seeping out of the stone. And from where you were, you couldn't really see the spell cast, so you can't really tell if any of these dead or unconscious.
Well, I do see the threat is still up, and I see Lizardman down. And I just like shake my head a little bit. And now you die. And I hold out my hand to the trog, and I electric arc him.
You can electric arc the pterodactyl too. They are 30 feet away.
Perfect. I thought he was beyond 30. That's why I didn't say it.
Exactly 30. So almost one off max damage roll. Kanta. Gonna get a 22 on his reflex save.
Yikes.
This pterodactyl is 16. But still, even with a failure, even taking the half, the 5, the twin stabs from Celwynne, the fire from Ara, and the blast of lightning from Arubus as Zerg flails his fucking monkey fists into Kanta. I'm going to reduce him to a smoldering mound on the ground. The pterodactyl takes one last peck at this stupid pumpkin for a 20.
It hits.
He's gonna hit you for 11 damage.
The pumpkin dies.
Having squashed, how long does the vines last? 1 round? Is that?
It was 1 round, and the
Okay.
pumpkin actually explodes into a bunch of gourds, and he heals me.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. When the pumpkin dies, he verdant blasts, bursts into a bunch of gourds, and I heal because I'm a plant.
Okay. Well, I guess doing you a favor by popping this pumpkin and
Yeah, I heal for
sowing
1d8.
life on the top of this tower. With a last cry, the pterodactyl takes off, runs, and flaps off the eastern side of the building. With its damaged wing, you see it struggle to kind of stay in the air, losing a lot of height, as all it can really do is just glide downwards off into the distance, below the visible level of the top of the tower. And with that, the demons having left and The troggs slain. It falls silent but for the sounds of nature. Around the tower.
And Zerg screaming and crying, and the sound of fists hitting the stone through this dead motherfucker's flesh and bone. Just wet,
right.
pounding and screaming as
Walk
Monkey
over
Man
to
turns
Lizard.
orc.
I'll walk over to the lizard and just start casting first level heal spells on him until I can't
Oh.
cast anymore.
I'm dropping my swords and I'm falling on my knees next to them.
You all realize pretty quickly between your medicine and your magic that Lizard Man appears to actually be well and truly dead.
Shit world.
Oh, because he can't be dead because I need him.
Well, that's a real shame, isn't it?
I'm gonna back up and I'm gonna stare at the sky.
As you look out, you can see the Aeon Orb. The white sphere just slowly, lazily drifting around the tower. Doesn't react, it doesn't know what's happened. As you see it, kind of drifting by 30 feet out from the ledge, it almost starts to glow a little bit brighter. And as it does, the four of you standing here on the rooftop can each see that you share this emanation. This pale white light. Theoretically, which should be utterly invisible in the bright morning sun streaming down, glowing out, giving each of you an ethereal aura, an outline, almost. And as it overcomes you, Zerg and Ara, you feel your wounds pull themselves closed as some kind of healing force takes hold of you. A wave of positive energy flowing through your body. And for a moment, you all see almost a vision, a flicker, of this tower rising not from a forest, but from barren stone, wet still from the ocean's sea, or the ocean's sprays. And life erupting outward from this orb to seed it. This energy now somehow seems to be reflected inside each of you. And Arbus, Zerg, Ara, each of you can tap into this power once a day as 2 actions to grant yourself fast healing 3 for 1 minute, which means you will heal 3 health at the start of every one of your turns for 10 turns. And in addition, even mundane rest and treatment will be twice as effective on you. You'll gain double your level times your con mod when you rest at night, instead of your level times your con mod. This artifact seems to, at some level, almost recognize what has happened here, and has instilled a reflection of its power into you. The Lizard Man still appears to just lay broken on the floor.
Screw that. I don't even care. I'm gonna hold up my hand to the sky and hold up my other hand to his body, and I'm gonna cast my strongest healing. I don't care. The Stormlord is here. He is watching me. I'm gonna try the 2nd level healing.
As you pull together the strongest magic that you have through, it just fades into nothingness. Even your healing The best you have can't bring back the dead.
Zerg's gonna pick up what's left of Lizard Man and just start walking into the stairs.
As you carry him over to the stairway, Arbus, I imagine, following, kind of realizing what's happened here. Celwynne, you don't feel this energy. You don't feel this resonant reflection. You don't feel anything really come through.
I feel like shit.
But you hear a voice in your head. A gasp. Yes! This is exactly what I knew we were capable of. Celwynne, my love! In mere minutes! Oh. Can you even imagine what we can accomplish together? Sorry about your friend, by the way.
Yeah, ain't great, is it? Well, I'm glad you're happy.
Kanta, that idiot, he was sent here from Moonstone Hall. If they're on the track of the source of this power, more of this font. They have a traveling circus, right? Follow them. Head to Escador. Oh, this is only the beginning, my love. And you feel a different power. Bolstered by some of Tylvi's demonic strength. You feel a good bit more capable, Celwynne. But if anything, this is the opposite of a reflection of life here.
Celwynne's very sad that she took a deal with a demon and it didn't save her friends.
So, if you're not naturally inclined to follow Tylvi's instruction here, I am going to need you to make a will save.
No, we're planning to do that anyway.
So the group of you head back downstairs, down this massive spiral, I imagine, largely in silence. It's gonna take you like 10, 15 minutes just to get your way out of here. Zerg carrying the body of Lizard Man the whole way. As you reach the landing, outside the tower, where you'd fought its first guardians with those gargoyles. Just heading home.
I think Lizard Man wanted to be buried with the circus, or at least have a service there.
His name was Drazik.
Sorry?
His name was Drazik.
And yet we knew him by Lizard.
We didn't want to be associated with his past.
So let him be associated with his present, or what the one that was.
The Lizard Man.
It's a Lizard Man. Right, we should get wasted tonight in his honor. Have a big party. Celebrate his life.
It is going to take you most of the rest of the day to make the long walk back to the outskirts of Abberton and back to the Circus of Wayward Wonders campgrounds to return, well, the closest thing Lizard Man really did have to a home. And when you arrive, pretty immediately apparent that's, I mean, you've come back here how many times beaten within an inch of your life, half dead, desperately wounded, but never quite like this. Professor immediately comes to the group of you, coming in from the far side, from the northeast, and looks down at Lizard Man, Looks across the group of you. Looks up at Zerg carrying him. Speechless for a moment, just in disbelief.
Yeah.
What?
We feel the same way.
Well, you had gone to the tower for Reginald, right? For the druids to help them.
And we succeeded. Just not without great cost.
Well, and as far as I can understand, what admittedly little I know of this situation, he's given his life for a much higher cause than any of us have ever dreamed of serving.
Yeah, well, fuck higher costs, and fuck whatever led us to here.
Well, fuck the gods indeed, but damned if I'm not going to find some small amount of solace in this.
Maybe Reginald and myself combined could bring him back. I don't.
What
I
about
don't know.
the cleric, the Abberton priest in town? That's a healing church, is it not?
It is, but the mere cost of resurrecting someone is probably too. We could ask, of course.
As soon as the professor says something, Gar is gonna start making his way towards town.
I don't think we should implant false hope. I think this is the same situation as it was with Thunder.
No, this is fair, but damn it. After everything you'd accomplished, I'd hoped. Saying goodbye to the closest thing I'd had to a brother was gonna be the last of it. We formed the whole Circus of Wayward Wonders to escape this. Get away from the menagerie and the death. The disappearance.
All we did is it's a different sort of death. This, at least, it was for a noble cause and not just from someone falling off the tightrope at an inopportune moment. Although I don't agree with the gods, I don't care for him. I don't care about any of this. Honestly, it's still better justification.
If we weren't already planning on heading out of Abberton, this lack of coin, we certainly need to get the hell out of here due to this, well, whatever the hell seems to be wrong with the town. No, the amount of... I don't want to think anymore on it, not now. It's first Thunder, now Lizard Man, and I'll have to say the same now as I did then. But fortunately, we're in much better economic straits. The show must go on, after all.
One last time.
Well, I've given
Close it
some
anyway.
thought, perhaps, to nearby towns we could tend to. Plotted out a possible route for us.
Well, I'd like to go fuck with the Celestial Menagerie. It's what Lizard would have wanted.
I'm sorry, this must... we all deal with grief differently, Celwynne, but that's... Frankly, that's ridiculous. At this point, some of the, much like when Thunder had died before your opening night, most of the circus have noticed and are gathering around.
Zerg has carried Lizard's body over to the cart and is resting Lizard's head, or what's left of it, I suppose, on one of those fancy pillows from that room that Zerg grabbed on the way down.
Oh, man.
And covers him with a sheet and fucks off somewhere else.
And as you were over there covering him as you're dealing with it, she doesn't make any attempt to intervene, of course, but Ulva, as much as everyone else, is seeing your return and standing a fair distance away, maybe 10 feet back. Doesn't say anything, doesn't move to stop you, of course. Understanding this grief, just watches, sort of hangs her head a bit. And back at the camp, the professor. So
Actually, sorry,
Oh.
can I interject
does
just
this
very
change
quickly?
your?
No. So nothing. The only difference being before Zerg leaves, he's just gonna get just a little, just like maybe a little vial or whatever I've got in my bandolier of just some of Lizard's blood, just a little bit, and then I fuck off.
So back at the group, as a couple have trickled off to watch you carry Lizard Man to the cart, but some have gathered around the professor. A lot of the bigger ones, the Flambonis, the Camboni family, Tulip, Cubby, are all just kind of around as you guys talk. You can't certainly mean to attempt to intrude on the Celestial Menageries territory so soon. You've had 2 shows.
Yeah, and we're pretty good at it.
And Tulip kind
We
of steps
could
forward.
keep going for small game. or
Look.
we could.
Selwyn, honey, I get we all got big dreams, but you, as much as the rest of us, we put this show together to get away from Escadar and the Celestial Menagerie and Mistress Dusklight. You see what she does to people who are useful to her. I can't imagine how she'd react to us stepping forward as competition.
Something else is gonna be fun. I give a grim smile.
She kind of looks over at the professor, and everyone present sort of looks across each other, and Cubby speaks up. Are you fucking with me?
You're such a good dog, Covey. What's up?
Fuck you. Are you fucking with me? You're gonna take us after the success we found straight back to get bent over by a cat folk? You know I hate cats for a
Right,
huge
we're,
variety of reasons.
We're gonna bend over to catfolk.
Professor,
I'm obviously not making this move self-contained, and I won't do it without support. I'm not a dictator.
he puts a hand on Tulip's shoulder and nods to her. Well, Selwyn, I trusted you enough to give you the title of Ringmaster after Myron's death, and after everything you personally have done for us. No one's more in the right to make this decision than you. I mean, he puts his hands up and turns to everyone present. She's not wrong. We blew their damn socks off a few weeks ago. Imagine the look on Mistress Dusklight's stupid face if we stride back into Escadar and upstage her on her home turf. They all kind of share some looks. No one seems super confident. But Yagi, leader of the dwarves, steps forward. Oh, I think it'd be fucking hilarious. Let's do it.
And I step on a soapbox because I'm so short.
Absolutely.
And I'd get up, speak out, pull out a little flask of liquor. We've all been fucked over by Mistress Duskwood in the past. Each and every one of us. It's why we're together. Today, we lost one of our own. We go to the island not just to fuck with Mistress Duskwood, but to settle some unfinished business on Lizard's behalf. They took one of ours, but we'll take one of theirs. And honestly, Lizard would have wanted us to fuck with Mistress Duskwood more than any of us. I say we go there. And if you're not willing to go, that's fine. That's disappointing, but I suppose I joined up with a bunch of cowards after all. And I would like to...
And
make it
one of the little Griggs, Arena, the female, kind of flies up around you, and her voice for her tiny little form came out of the crowd. I don't know who the fuck Mistress Dustlight is, but kind of put on a show, didn't we?
Yeah, fuck her. And obviously we're better than them, right? We're not shit. We're not pathetic pieces of, well, catfolk garbage. We treat our performance well. We treat our people well.
And Cubby calls out, I do fucking hate cats. Standing up and talking don't make them no different. I stand up and talk.
Such a good boy.
You want to roll for me here?
I would like to, yes. A 28.
You get a cry out from those assembled around as between Lizard Man and your explanation, everyone kind of comes around to the idea of sticking it to Mistress Dusklight rather than living in constant fear. Besides, it's been a year of setup, and even more than that now since your first show. Since any of you have been to Escadar, this professor steps forward. You heard the ringmaster. Pack up the wagons. Prepare yourselves for travel. We hit the road. I have quite a journey ahead of us, so if there's any supplies we last need in Abberton, I suggest you gather them. We're crossing the whole of the Isle of Erran. Far out to the west, to Mistress Dusklight's shitty doorstep. I'm gonna piss right in her litter box and show her what we're made of, aye? And again, the crowd, circus folk assembled around, cries out again in support. And once more, Professor puts his hands up. For Myron! Old ringmaster! And he looks to you, Selwyn.
For Lizard, our old rigger. Tonight, we drink in honor of their memories, and tomorrow we'll start packing.
So inspired. The rest of the evening is spent much like it was after the circus grounds have been secured and the Lake of Thunder's death. Drinking, sharing stories with all but Zerg.
Ara disappears too.
I also would eventually disappear.
Same.
Well, most of, I guess it's the rest
I
of
would
the...
probably stay a lot longer than the rest because
Yeah.
I have appearances to keep.
The rest of the group, the rest of your circus, your co-performers, sticking around to drink and revel somewhat in his memory, but each of you dipping out as even as the sun sets and the night goes on. The more in your own ways.
Take my wolves out and we would howl at the moon. So the wee
Zerg.
hour.
Ara does
Okay.
go back. Ara goes back to his wagon and gets a little intricately carved Firebird. He knows he's seen the image before and he's carved when he takes it to Lizard and places it on his body. And just walks away, doesn't say anything.
At some point during the evening, when no one's looking, I would like to grab several small vials of lizard's blood, similar to how Cirque did.
Are we all taking lizard's blood? All right. So, Zerg, where are you headed? What are you headed off to do, or is this something you don't want everyone to know? Something you want to keep to yourself? You definitely don't have to share.
For now, Zerg is gone. No idea where he's gone. I know where he's gone. Y'all don't know.
Of course. And with that, with one more loss before this chapter could really be brought to a close, we end the first book of the Extinction Curse. The show must go on. And we head next week further into new territory here with Book 2.
Oh, there she is, that fucking once
The
and Howard.
Legacy of the Lost God. As we head back into Escadar, right to the doorstep of Mistress Dusklight, the leader of the Celestial Menagerie, who you'd all be far too familiar with. But in search of a different goal, at least for some of you. For now, I believe only Celwynne and Aura, if you read through the notepad, only, right? You did read through it, or just look at it, saw it looked interesting, and brought it back?
I looked through it and I read it, and then I took it to Selwyn.
So only Celwynne and Aura for the moment knowing about Moonstone Hall, where the Troggs had come from, and only the faintest inkling of what secrets may lie within. But honestly, I am perfectly fine stopping this episode right here.
I think it's hard to start anything
Because
new
it is
from here on,
difficult
right?
to continue here. I've spent the last 20 minutes. Oh my god! It literally is actually trying to not actively cry. Narrating
Seriously?
that was legitimately difficult.
I am very sad, unironically.
No,
Like,
I'm not
fucking
kidding.
bummed out.
Like that was actually really hard for me to tell. But
Definitely was a hell of a spell.
I'll just leave us with this final bit. Sometime in the evening, someone would hear the voice of Tylvi come through again. Alright, so possibly good news. I've been doing some investigations, and I believe we had a bit of a deal here. I assisted you with my power on the condition you were allowed to assist your friends. And admittedly, I feel you've got a bit of a raw end of this. Heading to Escadar, correct?
We are. I managed to convince them that was the right move to do. Although, honestly, realistically, do want to fuck with Dustlight. Honest there.
Oh, well, great. Then we both have fantastic reasons to be heading out. So this is something that is certainly beyond me. My magic is far from positive and negative energy, necromancy, life and death. I can't do any of that. I spent years studying. Could learn just like a human wizard, I suppose, but that really caught my interest. That said, I found a bit of interesting information about Moonstone Hall, and in particular on an associate of mine who has frequented the area some. I may be able to call in a favor, you could call it. You want your lizard friend back, right?
What is this going to cost me?
So little faith. No way to start a partnership. What have I done to earn your distrust, Selwyn? I've given you nothing but power.
I suppose that is unfair. Outside you, I guess we were intruding, but outside you actually bringing him down initially and weakening him for that final confrontation, which may or may not have led to his eventual real death. Anyway,
his magic is much stronger than what you faced. When my gift is withdrawn, it has consequences. Severe ones. And you saw his anger. I transferred my power to you. That was well-founded, to be fair. But, no. I can reach out. As long as, well, clearly you're not above accepting the help of a demon.
Not if we'll bring him back. No. I feel like I've already stepped onto the path of damnation. What's a few more steps? That's a bit
mortals
melodramatic.
overrate this whole process anyway. It's... There's... What is it? In literature... You are what you make of yourself, correct? Do you truly
Sure.
believe anyone's really born good or evil?
Not to the extent that all the text presented as now. I think there's
Exactly.
really just
See,
text where
This
exchange.
wisdom is exactly why I came to you. Well, make your way to Escadar then. Bring your friends, bring your circus, bring the lizard. Be in touch. No promises, but we may be able to make this work.
All right. So when are you coming to see the circus?
You just hear a, almost not even hear so much as you just feel a bit of amusement come across your telepathic connection, but no proper response. Well, chats, with the closing of our first chapter here, I don't know if I think that's a solid stopping point. I have a bit of a shorter episode here today.
The lizard man.
Well,
My
next
heart is
week,
breaking.
when we all return to this next Monday, we'll head off into a new chapter, the legacy of the lost god, traveling to Escadar to shit on Dusklight's doorstep and stand up to the celestial menagerie.
Literally do that.
Burn
It
the
should-
menagerie down.
It should be a great time, really, for everyone involved. And sad as an ending as it is, you were victorious. You
If only
were
barely.
able to turn the tower back over, purge the troggs, and make some new friends along the way. So, with this new knowledge, with, well, there's a Ferric victory behind you, everyone
Happy
is
birthday,
now
all.
level 5. So, before we meet back together next week, level yourselves up, ascend, and to save us a bit of an inventory episode, word's
You want me
gonna
to
be
just put gold on instead of for what I put on the sheet? For instead of inventory, do you want me to just put trade in the gold that we have on the sheet?
sure, you can absolutely do that. But also, Reginald is still waiting in town, and as the Circus of Wayward Wonders is going to take a day or two in Abberton to prepare to begin their travel. As Reginald learns that the tower has been cleared and is now safe, before you leave, sort of left him a bunch of corpses strewn throughout. And he will bring you back what he feels that you have earned. The spoils of your victory. And when we return next week, not only level 5, perhaps with bitter new things to play with here. This is the first life that I have taken here in 2nd edition. And man, it did not feel good. You have no idea how fucking hard it was to narrate you guys leaving with that fucking music playing and not tear up. I was trying. I was 100% willpower. That was 100% absolute focus. Like, I have to tell the story. I'm the impartial GM. Impartial.
Everybody's energy is just after that. It was,
Which is why we're gonna end it here. Thank you, chat, for being here. Thank you, several people for your raids during the show there. Leeson, Evandale, coming over with your friends to unfortunately meet a terribly sad ending to our first chapter, but certainly one it's not too much for us to carry on. We'll see you all next week. Good night, everybody. Especially Lizard Man. Super good night, Lizard Man.
Night, sweet
Tight,
prince.
Sweet prince.
Oh, kiss, guys.